Sorry about that, guys. Had a connection issue. We're back. I'm going to put Jill and Derick back on. We are speaking with Derick Flemming of Red Rooster, co-owner of Red Rooster, and our incomparable co-host, Jill Tracey. Sorry about that, you guys.
No problem. You know, I told you. His brother's watching. So, okay, where did he go?
Where did he go?
Starix.
Oh, I'm here. I'm just making sure we don't go off again.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So when we dropped off, we were discussing your challenges with opening and the 6 feet distancing. How do you thinking of the future of this as a developer? Does that give you pause or change your direction as it relates to hospitality?
It does, right? Because a new normal has been established, right? Mm-hmm. People have learned technology, how to use technology in a different way, right? So delivery apps, people getting prepared meals, brought to them at home. People are taking cooking lessons online and cooking at home. People have realized how life can change if they sort of self-sustain in their own experience in terms of the culinary. Right. Now, for us, and the reason why I think it's so important, dining and hospitality, and I've built hotels, the whole thing is about just as much about the experience as it is the culinary, right? Mm-hmm. So what I think is going to change is that businesses will have to, if you're about fast food, that's one thing, or high casual, that's one thing. But if you're about dining and real dining, then I think the consumer is really going to challenge you as to the value that they are perceiving based on the experience that you're offering them. And if that experience is not exponentially greater than the experience that they would otherwise get at home, then what's the value proposition? And so for us, we're excited about what we celebrate in terms of the culture, art, through music, through all of our sort of various cultural platforms. We're very excited and proud in the history of the building that we're in. Like this building that used to be a pool hall owned by Clyde Killens, hosted Sam Cooke and Muhammad Ali and Sammy Davis Jr. and those folks. So being in the presence of this historic neighborhood in Overtown, across the street from the historic Lyric Theater, in this historic building, that in and of itself, we think creates an experience for people that's differentiating.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, there's been a lot I'm from Detroit, but I've been here since college. Mm-hmm. And over all of that time, there has been this desire to rebuild Overtown. And I think now more than ever, people are understanding why that is so important. And so there's a much greater need, and there's much greater support from the community at large to see Overtown win. So I think, and you right down the street, Dunn's Josephine Hotel, that, same thing. They had a very long, up launch, but, a beautiful space. My dear friends from Headliners, the House of Wings, they've got Harlem Square that is slated to open. And I can just envision, 4 years from now, it's a mecca, so it is kind of a stick and stay,
exactly.
To be, yeah.
And so in the midst of what's happening right now in terms of racial injustice and the acknowledgement of racial injustice and the demonstrations and us being acknowledged, this whole Black Lives Matter movement, I think, one of the important outcomes of this needs to be how we are rebuilding our communities for us, right? And so, this whole
by
by us. Okay.
Yes.
And so the idea that, the communities like Overtown across the country that have been infiltrated, that have been, people have come in and completely isolated us or diffused us out of our historic places. It is important for us to go back in to our places, and that these corporations that are espousing to be so supportive of our, our aspirations and the, sort of upliftment of our community, they need to be, supportive on the bottom line on how our neighborhoods get rebuilt.
Well, you know what, and so you are ideally in place to answer this question. So I've been telling them this story about the beautiful young sister who was commissioned by Microsoft to do a mural on the side of their building, kind of representing the moment that we're in. And art takes a moment, and not a long time. Maybe it had been about 2 weeks, and she got a letter from Microsoft saying that, asking, when is it going to go up? Because we need it to be up while it's still relevant. That part. And so she politely sent them a letter and sent them their money back.
Right.
So that, you know what I'm saying? So that, how do you walk in both spaces, right?
Yeah.
So you see a lot of that. How do you, and then how do we in our corporate spaces, kind of deal with that? For me, that's a new normal. That it's almost like we're going to do this, but there are conditions on it. We're doing it so we can so you'll keep buying Microsoft products, basically. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So how do you navigate that because I know you encounter.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is sort of what I was getting at initially, is like, I need to see tangible, measurable outcomes, right? And so what is your new policy? And not a statement. I don't want to hear another statement. I don't want to see another post, an Instagram post. What is your new policy? How are you bringing on new leadership into your corporate structure that is going to be reflective of what you see is a moment which really needs to be about a new paradigm,
right? A whole change
altogether. It's not a moment. It's a new way of our society being reflective in its true justice space, right? And so I need you to put money in. I need you to be financially supportive. I need your policies to change in the corporate level. And then and only then can we do business. Can we be supportive? Can we affirm you? Can we validate you? With Colin Kaepernick, my thing has been, for instance, it's not about Colin Kaepernick getting a quarterback position on a team. It's not about that. I personally want to see Colin Kaepernick in an ownership situation with the NFL. I need all of these investors and all the billions of dollars that exist in the NFL to bring this intelligent, thought-provoking, profound leader in Colin Kaepernick to the table every day to make decisions about policy, about how the engagement with the unions, with the players' union is being. I don't want him to be on the field where 6 months from now he gets a broken ankle, broken leg,
or somebody breaks his neck.
I don't want that's not progress for me. Right. Being on the team. Now, if he wants to play and that's his passion, that's his own thing. Right. But for me, the real measurable outcome of this needs to be him at the table every week, at every meeting, when they talk about these issues, and then an apology about how now you want to make a statement about his protest. You need to acknowledge how that statement that he made has moved your needle forward in your NFL structure. That's what needs to happen. Don't put him
this entire country forward in a new way.
Right. That's right.
And I just like high five, because that's where we need him at the table, and nobody's having that conversation. That Colin is not just trying to get a job.
I don't understand why that's not the conversation. Jay-Z, if you're out there, You're at the table. You're doing the event. You're doing the music. Get Colin Kaepernick the money to become an investor, a stakeholder in an NFL team as an owner. That needs to be the progress for that situation. And so what I'm saying, I get very, very passionate about this. We're talking about it in terms of our businesses and our communities. And, I've been doing development for 20 years now. It is about when an African-American business owner comes to you and he has a track record for running a viable business,
right?
The bank, the investors, you've got all of these like funds, venture capital funds, etc. Come to the table with a way to allow these businesses to set up shop, to uproot the economic development corporations that have all of our tax money, that have all of the bonding capacity. They need to come together and allow these viable businesses, uproot in our communities in an economically supported way. Because for so long, we were disenfranchised. We weren't invested into. So now you need to invest. I don't want to see a statement. I want to see a check.
Right. That's it. Hashtag, I want to see a statement. I want to see a check.
What,
look at some of the comments so then I'll know what, and then we'll address some of the listeners. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Derick, on that note, it's so important. You mentioned someone, Jay-Z, that I have a whole different opinion on. I don't think that Jay-Z's interest is truly Black liberation, right? I think that he likes being the only one in the room. I think he likes the idea of being separate, right? And serving as this ceremonial sort of emissary, if you will, between white supremacy and like Black people. And it's just not working out.
Oh man.
Okay, like Susan said, it's just not working out.
What happened?
There you go.
You're freezing.
It's just not working out.
So and that's how I look at a lot of the these folks that say they're for Black liberation. And just like you said, and within our people, show us the check. And I think that's what you're doing over at Red Rooster by hiring a Black executive chef. And guys, Derick, I want you to talk about the importance of how Red Rooster, at so many restaurants, the excuse that I hear from them is, Starks, I couldn't find someone Black because.
Damn it, man. He must have moved the location where he has that.
Who, me?
Everybody, yeah, you because you keep short now. You've never, this is the first time you've been short now like this.
But can you hear me?
Like high-fiving on, don't show me a statement, show me a check.
Can you hear me, Joe?
Y'all talk about Jay-Z, but we'll get back to that. Huh? What'd you say? Star X. I don't know what's happening over there. Let me see. There were a couple of comments for you. Honey's Kitchen. Some of our local businesses.
Oh, that's how. I'm sorry. Did you guys hear anything that I was saying?
We didn't hear you.
Yeah, no.
You didn't hear anything I was saying?
We heard when you said the statement about Jay-Z. You were finishing the statement about Jay-Z, and then it just cut out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, so my point was.
Miss Blue in New York says, speak on it, brother. Thank you very much. And Keisha says, policy change is exactly what we need. Policy changes and support. Everybody's like really in that space with you. Tangible, measurable outcomes. And Martha Wisby from, Martha.
Yeah.
She says, I love and
that's my heart. Martha's my heart.
Martha is over there.
Yeah.
And Janae over at High-Low News, who I'm sure will be coming by. Janae Tate, lovely young sister, has started High-Low News, which stands for Hyper Local News. And I use her as a resource so much because she is doing that just on the ground work that a lot of times that we don't get to see. So hopefully we'll put you all together because I would love to sit down with her yes, Janae. Yes, we will definitely do. But listen, that brunch at Red Rooster is a whole nother thing. You just get your life. There's so many stories I can tell you about that. Okay. And do we have?
But can you hear me, Jill?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so what I was saying, Derick, was that on that note, which show me the check, one of the things that you've done that I have a lot of respect for is that so many times restaurants that open with your capacity, they will tend to give me, that's Black owned, has the excuse that they couldn't find anyone Black qualified for the job. So that's why they didn't give it to someone Black. And that may be the truth. But one of the things that you've done is that you've waited and you literally put the restaurant on pause so that you can find folks that are in Overtown's community, and you hired a Black executive chef, you have Black management. So I wanted you to talk about the importance of how, when we do support Black-owned businesses, it's important to give an opportunity to those in the culinary field that we traditionally don't see in management roles, an opportunity to get that under their belt.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of a two-edged sword sometimes, right? Because you have, here's what you have. You have a celebrity chef in Marcus Samuelsson, right? Who, as a Black man, has been able to, you know, matriculate through a system where he finds himself as the only Black man in the room all of the time, right? The Thomas Kellers and the Danny Myers and the, you know, all of these, you know, established Tom Colicchios, all these established chefs who, you know, who are his white counterparts. And so for him to have made it to the level in which he has achieved is pretty incredible, first of all. But then secondly, you know, it creates an expectation. There's an expectation about the experience that comes out of dining at a Marcus Samuelsson restaurant, right? So that expectation gets, you know, funneled into what am I going to experience when I come to this space? So then what you then have to offer that experience is about hiring a team that can execute on a very high level that is commensurate with the expectations that Marcus Samuelsson has established in his career. And for us, you know, as my partner, for us as a business, they're high expectations. So you can't just bring anyone into this kitchen. Mm-hmm. You've got to have someone who's trained, who's ready to go. Now, unfortunately, we've been pulled into, and I have this conversation a lot as well, we've been pulled into, you know, a lot of our young brothers and sisters thinking that entertainment and music and, you know, these directions is what they need to aspire to. There are incredibly viable, incredibly honorable, and great livings that come from the hospitality industry. You can be an executive chef, you can be a director of operations, you can be a division executive for a culinary space. And all of that training can come through this restaurant, right? So what we've done is said, look, we understand that there's been a gap between the exposure that we, as our community, have had to high level training in the culinary space. We're willing to work toward closing that gap. So every time we bring someone on, we bring on a chef. It is about bringing someone in from our community that represents the best and aspirations. If you really want it, if you really want to work, you really want to represent, we will train you how to do the work at the level that is commensurate with what a Marcus Samuelsson restaurant is, and actually commensurate with what the best of our Black businesses should offer. You know, it shouldn't be a Black business and the service is just off because of that. It's not about that. It's about representing the best. And your experience on Miami Beach should be your experience in Overtown. Your experience in Brickell in terms of service should be the same experience that you have in Overtown. So we've gotta make sure that our young brothers and sisters get opportunities. We train them. You know, we brought in 110 people for opening this restaurant. And 75% of them from Liberty City, Overtown, Opelika, from our neighborhood. And so it takes a lot of work sometimes, right? to get to, it takes a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of patience to get our young brothers and sisters where they need to be. And so, if we don't do the work, who's going to do the work?
Nobody. Question: have you been into OPAC? Oh, I think he muted his.
Sorry.
Have you been into OPAC yet?
Yes.
In that kitchen?
Yeah. It's a great kitchen.
That was originally supposed to be exactly what you're saying. Martha, y'all need to get on that. I don't know. I think that was between me, you, and Jesus. I think that was a deal made on a napkin at an airport that didn't quite crack.
Yes.
So, but I mean, it's just sitting there. And I did an event there and like literally was downstairs with Musaddiq from House of Wings. Like, how is this just sitting here? And there's so many young people in Overtown that need to be trained. And that is a world-class kitchen down there. You know what I'm saying? That they could, the ecosystem.
And they've had training programs there. They've had training programs there. But what needs to happen is young brothers and sisters need to be funneled in there with high-level training. And I'm telling you, if they get their credential right, they could go on to make six-figure salaries at some of the top hotels and restaurants around here. And they need to. No one has explained that to them. They don't quite, that's not been articulated to our young brothers and sisters. And so, we're doing it in our own small little way here. We've had people who've come in as server assistants who've matriculated up to be assistant managers, right? And we had a young sister in Harlem. She came in, she was a hostess, she worked on the floor and did, and now she's a manager, and she's taking care of her and her kids, and she's good, and she's like, she's good, healthcare, she's good. And so that's what we need to, and that also comes from, us as African-American patrons acknowledging businesses that actually do this work and patronizing and supporting those businesses, so that we can continue to build and to hire and to be an economic development force for our community.
As far as I know, there's no restaurant called The Hookup, so we need to stop that. That's the main things we need to stop doing, people. Is when we go to our restaurants, need the hookup. No, they need the hookup and you to pay.
Right.
You were about to say.
So, Derick, can you talk a little bit about the entrees before you hop off? Like, what can people expect from Red Rooster? And then you guys open today, and the Hungry Black Man will be there today to speak with Derick, and hopefully, finally, Derick can actually show us the space because it's so beautiful. He did such a great job with designing it. But I wanted you to talk about the entrees and things that people can.
Yeah. Did you see it when it was Art Africa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it? It's just such a beautiful space. I cannot wait to see it as Red Rooster.
Yeah. No, I saw it before it was Art Africa. And then I saw it in Art Africa. Yeah. So I've been here for a while, sort of watching it and working with the CRA, negotiating and all that stuff. So I've been here for a while, seeing the space. But in terms of Starks, in terms of the menu, so what's happening now is we're opening up the ice cream shop, the creamery at Red Rooster, and that is going to be our initial conversation with the community, opening up the space and connecting with everyone as a takeout, grab and go delivery space. So there will be like signature ice creams that Chef Tristan has put together that are really, really yummy. And then we have chicken sandwiches that are amazing. And then we've got chicken and waffles. It's going to be on the menu. And then there's some signature sides, some baked beans and some like a fish dip, like a really yummy fish dip. So there's like a small number of items that we're going to introduce initially. And then when the restaurant, more formally opens, which, we were just discussing, can't happen until Miami sort of gets its act together in terms of what they allow us to have in the space. when that happens, we got oxtails and whole chicken. I mean, it's like it's in fish and like raw bar, and it's a whole thing that we're going to do. It's going to be amazing.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Derick, for your time. I know you have a big day today. We're going to be there today with Derick and Chef Samuelson and show you guys what they're working with. So I can't wait to be down there.
Well,
thank you guys for having me on. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Happy Juneteenth. Have an amazing day. And I'll see you soon, Star X, and I look forward to seeing you again too as well.
Take care, guys.
I won't see you today, but I will see you soon.
Okay. All right. Take care.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Now we're going to bring on Spectacular. Spectacular is R&B star. He is a professional friend of mine. He has attended our national conference, Black Tech Week. He is the creator and founder of a dynamic company by the name of Atwazar that we're going to talk about today, that is doing some wonderful things in the lives of celebrities and in the lives of Black founders and tech founders. So without further ado, Spectacular Smith, no relation to Star X Smith. I'm working on changing my last name, I'm sure.
Oh, that's right. Oh, for the love of God. He keeps freezing up, Spectacular. How are you, darling?
Yeah, I'm doing spectacular.
That's good. There you go. I haven't seen you since you were a child and visiting us at I think you were all with me and Terry Alexander on 99 JM years ago, but it's wonderful to see you done. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
we go back. Okay. But it's great to see you and the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Is he back?
So,
okay.
Okay. So Spec, you want to obviously there's going to be a sort of dichotomy of questions. Jill's going to ask very different questions from me, but and so she has a whole nother dynamic as far as where you're going with your brand, right? And how it can really change the lives of people who use it. And so I wanted you to just kind of get into, who you are for people who may be a bit older and may not know. And then also really get into the brand and sort of how we came to meet and how far you've come. I mean, you came to Black Tech Week maybe 4 years ago, and now your brand is just doing incredible. You have all sorts of celebrities attached to it, and it's doing a really, really great job. So I wanted you to get into that if you didn't mind.
Yeah, well, first, my name is Spectacular Smith. And one thing that we can talk about right now, which I think would be great, because I mean, me introducing myself is okay, but I mean, whatever. But yeah,
but you have to.
Yeah, I got you. So pretty much, I started off in the group Pretty Ricky, and being in Pretty Ricky and transitioning to the technology space with helping different celebrities and influencers grow their social media following, because I realized that any successful business is solving a problem. So that's what I wanted to do, is solve the problem in the entertainment industry, because these artists had all these years of putting in this work and growing their followers massively, but they didn't know how to monetize it. And I knew how to monetize my social channels from growing, different parody accounts, Grumpy Cat, all these different pages on social media that help me understand how to monetize my social media channels. So I wanted to go and start helping these different celebrities do the same thing for themselves. They had millions of followers, and I knew how to make thousands of dollars every single day. So once I did that, I realized that it was more to it than just that, because I was helping these celebrities make, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month. But then I realized that I can dive a little deeper. And when I dove a little deeper, I decided to help out more small business owners and help them take their brands to the next level. Because it was okay for me to help the celebrities, and then the corporations got involved, the Fortune 500 companies. I started servicing those guys, and it wasn't as fulfilling as me figuring out, hey, I can help someone who has a great voice, a great product, but don't know how to get it to the masses. So this formula worked regardless. It didn't matter what it was. It can be on Twitter with a parody account, a fan account. It could be a celebrity, monetizing, helping them grow their social media following by millions of followers. By the way, we did 79 million followers in the last 3 years and over 1 trillion impressions and 7 billion video views. So doing that, I realized that, you know, some of these celebrities, a lot of them are ungrateful because they don't realize what they have, you know, in their hands, and they take it for granted. But I know that if I deal with a small Black business owner and I help them grow their followers by 100,000 followers or 1 million followers, and I help them monetize, you know, 125 grand after spending, you know, 200 something dollars on some ads, you know, then they're ecstatic about that. So once I realized that, I transitioned from just helping celebrities and Fortune 500 companies to helping small business owners scale up their brand and build their brand. And then that's when I created a company called Awazar. So not only that we help different celebrities and Fortune 500 companies, but we help the average everyday person, you know, bring their idea to life. We help them become famous and go viral on social media and increasing their net worth with their followers. And then I realized that it goes even deeper than that. It goes even deeper than just the everyday average small business owner. I peel back the layer, and now it's like, okay, now we have the aspiring entrepreneurs. How can I get the everyday average person who works a 9 to 5 to be able to build their dream business and give them all the tools that's necessary for them to have a 7-figure business? The only difference between what I'm doing versus what the school systems are doing is that they're teaching you a bunch of information that you can't utilize, right? I went through my whole high school career and I was like, what the hell did I learn, right? They didn't teach me nothing I can use in the real world. They didn't teach me how to use credit. They didn't teach me how to buy a house. They didn't teach me, you know, the difference between, you know, anxiety, and they didn't teach me mindset. They didn't teach me how to build relationships. These are all things that's necessary in the real world, but they don't teach you because the school systems is there for you to just clock in, clock out, 1 hour lunch break, leave, come back, recycle it all over again. It's this hamster wheel, right? And that's how they teach you. And it was Henry Ford, and you have the Rockefeller family created the school systems for you to be able to be their workers, right? Exactly. So they wanted back in the day, you know, they had all these people being entrepreneur. They didn't want no more entrepreneur. Everybody back then was doing their own thing, and then they made it mandatory for you to go by their curriculum. You know, you to go by their history books, and they erased everybody that was Black in the history books, and they added white people. And then it was like, all right, this is your history. This is what you're going to learn about. And yeah, you know what? We're going to give Black people 1 month. You know, we know you erased everybody. We're going to give them 1 month. And then that's the curriculum that they gave you. Nothing was entrepreneur about that system.
No, that's why Trump thinks he can say he discovered Juneteenth and made it famous.
Exactly, because it's been a brainwash from day one. So now it's like, I can get away with this because y'all been believing it since day one. So once you actually understand what missing pieces that you are missing, then you're able to have that entrepreneur spirit again, because the school systems just gave you gaps. And everybody that realized it was a gap, those was the people who actually benefited. But I know it's a gap. I realized that, you know what? In order to create a full puzzle, you need those missing pieces. So I say, you know what? Forget your puzzle. I'm going to figure out what picture I want, create my own puzzle, and then take that puzzle and then give it to the people. So I say, you know what? Nah, that was wrong. Here you go. This is how you build credit. This is how you get $40,000, $50,000 line of credit. All right. This is how you build leadership. This is how you run a company. This is your operation system that nobody wants to tell you about. This is how you build a brand. This is how you grow your following. And I build a curriculum, and not only have professors teaching you. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool to have somebody to teach you that never been where I want to be. Yeah, that's cool. And overpriced information for a premium. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool to have an evergreen curriculum that I can just evergreen and have it over and over and over again. So I don't have to redo my books. I don't have to redo my curriculum because I want to evergreen. I don't want to work. So guess what I did? I have millionaires come in and teach you stuff that's working right now to this day, that's killing it for them. This is not the everyday, oh, I'm killing it. I don't want nobody to know about this because I'm murdering it right now. No, I'd be a disservice if I don't teach you what's killing it for me. So you can go do the same thing. It's enough money. It's enough money for everybody. Yeah. Let's everybody eat, right? Yeah. And that's what's wrong with the culture. We got taught the game is to be sold, not told. Don't introduce them to the plug. But I'm here to tell you, let's introduce everybody to every plug. That we ain't got to sell no game. Give the game for free. And as I started getting around these wealthy individuals, I realized that was what they was doing to get further ahead. And once we start getting further ahead, then all of a sudden everybody realized like, wow, this is beneficial for me to give you every resource I got and be more resourceful. Because the more resourceful that you are, the more that you're able to change the lives around you. And as you're able to change the lives around you, your life in return change. They say if you make enough people rich, you will become rich. So you got to be able to do the same thing for yourself and stop focusing on 100 pennies and go get yourself 4 quarters and pour into that.
Amen. Sorry.
Spectacular. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
When you look at the fact that I've seen the evolution of your brand, and I would love for you to spell it out so that we can write it in the comments section so people can visit the site and schedule for your course. There are a couple people on here that have stated that they've taken your course actually already, and other folks saying they need to take the course. You've been in the news. You're on a show. You've been able to springboard to a whole entirely different industry, right? Can you talk a little bit about sort of your connections with artists that have disappointed you? You've never stopped. No, seriously. And I think I really would like you to talk about this because initially you were like, you were very cool with a lot of these people. You helped them. I know for a fact, and this is something arbitrary. My nephews came in because when they met you, they were really young. They were 12 and 13. Now they're 21 and they're older now. When they initially met you come into schools and stuff like that. Anyway, these artists that have either betrayed your trust, used your platform, and you not only forgave them, you talked about how even if they just asked for it, you would have had no problem. And it was just a way that it was done. Talk about that issue, how you overcame that, became the bigger person because you're kind of like a big brother in the industry, because a lot of people sometimes get stuck on that sort of being hurt space, and it's hard for them to move forward. It's hard for them to create, and you've been able to do that. So I really wanted you to kind of talk about that. If it's not too personal, talk about that experience and how you've been able to kind of move forward and do this amazing platform.
Yeah, well, so Awazar is a company that really just started off just to help as much as possible. And once I realized that I can help them, I really tried to help them. So a lot of people that I was dealing with, I would go to them and ask them like, hey, I'm starting this, I have this business, and not only I can help you grow your followers, but I can help you monetize your followers. And once I started doing that, it was a lot of people didn't take me serious. Some people was like, oh, you and Pretty Ricky, that's why you became who you are, or that's why you have what you have. But that wasn't true. People took me as a joke. As I came in, people was like, oh, it's Pretty Ricky, Spectacular from Pretty Ricky, like, oh, whatever. And they went with the guys with the white guys with the suit and tie on. And I didn't let it faze me. When I first started my company, I literally put a white guy as the CEO because nobody was taking me serious. And I had to put myself of my own company as strategic partnerships. And I was literally the founder and CEO. And I used to go to these guys and they didn't support me. I went to TI and he didn't go with me. He went with the white man. I went with Akon. We sat down at my office, penthouse suite, top floor, Los Angeles. He didn't go with me. He went with the white man with the suit and tie. And he ended up getting scammed and robbed out of his money. He didn't go with me. I wouldn't have robbed him. And I talked to his family, and it was like, yo, I know we should have went with you. We didn't go with you, and this is what happened. Now the company is bankrupt. And Snoop Dogg, he didn't go with me. I offered him $150,000. His team told me it wasn't enough money. And then he ended up going with the white man with the suit and tie on. And I just knew that, it was something that I was going through at the time, but it didn't matter to me. You know, it didn't matter to me. I knew one day that I was going to show my work. And, you know, after that, you know, I had my first interview, which was Forbes. Forbes was my first interview, seeing what I was doing and wanted to get behind me and tell my story. And then that's when I made the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing companies in America. Out of 18 million companies, I made number 262nd, you know, out of whole America. Then after that, you know, I got Entrepreneur 360 award of, you know, of the company with the best innovation, you know, with the best technology, with the best leadership. And I won that award, and that's for the best privately owned companies in America. And I won that award 2 years in a row for 2018 and 2019. And, you know, they didn't go with me, right? And that just shows them, like, you know, you could have been with the best privately held company in America. You could have been with the fastest growing company in America, but you decided to go with the guy with the suit and tie on with a different complexion. So I decided that, you know what, I was just going to show them, instead of, you know, coming begging them or even telling them like, hey, I know I'm worth this. I know not only I'm coming with a guarantee that you're going to make this for sure every single month, but not only that, but I'm not coming empty handed. I'm coming with $100,000. I'm coming with $150,000. I'm not coming empty handed as a black man begging for business. I'm coming as a boss. I'm coming and say, listen, not only that, I'm gonna make you a minimum of $20,000 a month, and I'm gonna give you $150,000 up front. Still ain't go with me. So I just showed them.
You didn't even tell. Hold on one second.
I promise.
Hold on 1 second. No. So guys, I put the site inside of the comment section so that you guys can visit Atwazar and see what they're doing. And you know what's crazy? You know what's really fucking crazy? How on the outside, and we say this on our show all the time, one of the things we love about South Florida, and this is something that people need to realize, we have a true black conscience here. Udonis Haslam's going to be on the show next week. He has a black business manager. He has a black business partner with Ramona Brown. I mean, just tons of blackness. You look at E-Class, all black, everything. You look at Flow Rider, all black, everything. You look at, like, you left South Florida, all black, everything. And then you deal with these people that are in the public that are on these platforms talking about black unity, and in their private lives over and over again that we see, they don't have one black person around. And that's so deflating and it's so discouraging. And so I do appreciate the fact that one of the things that we do in South Florida, we really do try our best to remain as black as possible. And you've been out on the West Coast for a while and you've maintained that identity. How hard has that been? And how hard has it been for you not to, I mean, obviously there's a level of distrust within our community, even on the celebrity side, right? Yeah. So now you're kind of talking about that, and we here think that it's so much easier for you guys to network with each other. How did that feel? Right, but how did that feel?
Say, as you know, as a documenter of the culture for over 20-something years now, I am very aware of the fact that no, we don't. His story is unfortunately very common. That we don't trust each other, and that if you have not, if someone has not amassed the same level that they are, you know, it is parallel and larger, particularly the Spectacular's part. It was the same and larger, but in another space that they did not know. Because they didn't have any confidence in it. They had no confidence in him. And so the question to me comes, why do you have so much confidence in some other color, nationality that you know nothing about than you do in someone who looks like you, who could be your brother, your uncle, etc.? What is that, you know, space? Yeah. And I would like to ask, but I would like you to answer first. Who was it that helped you develop that?
Man,
confidence.
You know what? Honestly, it was just me believing in myself. You know, I didn't get mentorship until I already had a multi-million-dollar business. And because I didn't realize what I had to do to get accelerated, right? So I had to go through my bumps and my bruises and everything that I had to learn by myself, but I believed in myself and I knew that I can do it no matter what. Like, no matter how many times I got turned down, how many times doors got closed in my face, I knew that I can make it happen. So it was nothing to me. So as I was taking these punches in the face, like every time you get punched in the face, it leaves it open for a counter punch. So I figured out what every counterpunch was in every situation, and I counterpunched them. So as I got turned down by all these guys, I used it as motivation, and I used it as something that I can put fuel to my fire. And I never talked about none of this stuff like that, and because it just didn't faze me. It didn't faze me that they didn't, go at me or anything like that. And that was several years ago. That was over 6 years ago. Things have changed. Hopefully now, if I did decide to do business with them after all my accolades and everything like that, that they would decide to do business with me. Hopefully things are different. But at that time, it was definitely a capital no with an exclamation mark. And that's just what it is. But yeah, I always believed in myself, and I applied myself with knowledge, right? Self-education is key. And everything that I wanted to learn, I didn't depend on somebody teaching me that. I went out and seek the knowledge. I got hundreds of books around me, right? This is one of the books right here that you guys can get right now. It's called Traction, right? And if you want to build your business up, I got books all day, and it's just me educating myself. It's just me educating myself. These are books that's going to change your life once you get involved with these books. All right. So it's like not only getting yourself a mentor, somebody who's already been where you want to be at.
Right.
It's about you applying yourself and figuring it out. Get on YouTube, get on Google, find mentorship, follow their breadcrumbs to success, because every success leaves clues, right? They have to show you what they did to get where they at, right? You got this same 24 hours. Say it again.
So I said, as a young person, right? Was there somebody that you saw in your life, right? It may not be the same business or anything, but you thought, wow, they have the kind of stance, they have the kind of place in the world I want to have. I want people to feel that way about me. Do you know what I'm saying? Somebody that and I hate looked up to so much, but it's like that they resonate with you. You know what I'm saying? My aunt just took care of the family, right? But what resonated with me was that she wasn't doing it for allocate anything else. She did it because that was on her heart. She could have been married to a ball player. She was that girl, right? But in her heart, she wanted to be the one that took care of the family. Mm-hmm. And then that wasn't my role, but that commitment resonated with me, to be committed to what I do. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And I feel like it's always somebody, may not be anything like what you end up doing in your life. There's something about their compassion and their commitment to be great resonates with you. And then you take that seed and build your business or wherever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I think if anything, it started off with my mom and my dad. My dad was in prison for 12 years. But before I seen my dad like that, because I used to go see him in prison, my mom used to always be a hustler, taking care of 4 kids, single mom, and she was able to do everything she had to do. She ended up with a bunch of felonies doing it, but she took care of kids. At night, sometimes we didn't have food to eat like that, and we had to eat fruit for dinner, and we had to build from there. And my father got out of prison, and he lived in his store. He lived in a store he bought. I don't know where he get the money from, but he lived in a store that he bought as soon as he got out of jail, and he built his way up from living in the back of his store to 2-story house in the hood to going to the suburbs and building the house from the ground up. So definitely seeing, those two, and then just having aspirations to just be great, just seeing people like Jay-Z, people like Master P, people like Diddy, and some of the things that they was able to accomplish. And to me, like, they're no different than me. And if anything, I have way more resources than they have than when they came up. So I just want to take the time and just be as resourceful as possible, put in the work, don't point the finger at other people, and do what I got to do to get what they got. Be willing to put the work in and do the things that other people are not willing to do to get what others don't have. And that's why I realized why people are asleep watching Love and Hip Hop, even though I'm on one of the shows. But, they're up watching Love and Hip Hop, and they're up, doing things that has nothing to do with their mission going forward. Like, I don't do anything that don't involve my mission. Nothing.
You
I don't
put
care.
that in the comments, make that big.
Yeah,
I don't do anything. Have you read Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers?
Nope, I haven't.
Okay,
I haven't, but I have it. I have it in my library. It's so many
Right.
books. You get so many recommendations, so many books.
Right.
It's piled up so much, but
No,
I'm gonna get to
you
them.
haven't even read it, but that is the antithesis of his story. Is that you have to commit yourself 1,000% to that thing, and let
Yes.
all the rest of that go. And when you do that and put those 10,000 hours, his like key metric is 10,000 hours. You cannot
Yep.
do something
To master
10,000
anything.
hours
Yes.
and not win.
Exactly.
If you do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But this is the
love
problem.
it.
People go and they put 5 hours in there. They put a year in, 6 months in, and they're
Right.
not where they want to get. And they're like, man, I'm not where I want to be. And they quit and they go to the next shiny object. Nobody
Right.
stay on course. And when you're able to stay on course is when you're able to get to that final destination. But the trick is find somebody who already been to that destination, get the address, put it in your GPS to success, and then your mentor is going to guide you to the success, right? And it's going to give you the shortcut. So it's like, nah, don't go that way, detour. Save 5 minutes, go this way. But nobody listens to this, right? No, everybody try to figure out the what instead of the who. What I got to be to be more successful instead of who I have to model after, who I got to get to mentor me, who I got to get to coach me for me to get where I want. Like this is my living room. You see my TV? Yeah, that's my TV right there. It got a big ass whiteboard right in front of it, right? That's my TV, right? I don't have time. I don't have time and energy to do anything that's not helping me with my mission in life. Everything is intentional, right? Everything is intentional for me. Like my relationships are intentional. Where I go and support and who I help out, everything is intentional. All right. And anybody who's willing to listen, I'm willing to teach. And anybody that's willing to teach me, I'm willing to learn. Right. The best teacher is the best student. Right. And that's what God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen and then talk after. That's it.
The reason why I really want Spec to come on the show was what he just said. This is a brother that I think I was drunk and high in the parking lot, and we were just literally just talking about all of these amazing Black founders that we saw at Black Tech Week, and we were literally in that parking lot for about 3 hours, and Spec just kind of he just made such an impression on myself, Felicia Hatcher, my partner, and Derick, in the sense that when he initially was growing this business, we've seen Black founders all over the country, stressing out, right? Sometimes fretting because they'll make their first million, they'll raise their first million, and it becomes stressful now to get to the other seed rounds and all that good stuff. But Spec just really grew this business, and I'm not saying by himself, but it really seemed that way. He did a lot of the work himself. And I wanted you to talk about why you were consistent, how you were able to withstand those dark days, those no's, right? Because those were, even though you say it like that, those were big fucking blows, right? Because these are people that perpetuate themselves as down for the cause, supporting things. And that would be so passive for them to do. They're getting money from you and allowing you to just simply grow their social media. And you were one of the first companies that were Black, that have a Black founder that was doing that work. So I wanted you to talk about that, because people get so discouraged, right? Especially even with fitness, people with fitness. I know that you're obviously into fitness. We were eating crazy at South by Southwest, but that's a whole nother story. But with that, people just get discouraged very quickly. How have you been able to stay encouraged and encourage yourself while encouraging other people, and not allowing your mission to be detoured and not allowing their burdens? Because you did that as well, right? You talked about how you took care of other people. You talked about how it's a lot going on with you. And I think I want you to be more open with that sort of human side to let people know, this, what they see now is definitely not what was started, right? And that was a true growth process for you. So if you can kind of talk about that, especially being Juneteenth, that would be amazing.
Damn, you just hit me hard with that one. I really was the only Black business doing what I was doing at the time. It just hit me just now from you saying it. But I was the only Black business doing what I was doing and killing it. It wasn't even like regular. It was like we was murdering it. We were taking guys with the lowest amount of followers and making them $20,000-$30,000 a month. And by the time they finish with us, we have We took them from like 1 million followers to like 4 or 5 million followers. Wow. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I do want to give a shout out to Black Tech Week, man. Black Tech Week was amazing when I did go, when I first started my business. And that's where I met my mentor, my first mentor, which was Jeff Hoffman, the co-founder of Priceline. So I do want to give a huge shout out to Black Tech Week. It was an amazing event. I met a lot of amazing people, just to bring it back to that. But in terms of getting turned down and people letting me down, that was a norm for me, right? I would help somebody grow their followers from pretty much nothing and grow them to millions and millions of followers. And then they'll jump ship and go to my competitors after I built it up. And I'm like, yo, what the hell was everybody else when you didn't have no followers like that? Now that I built it up to 4 or 5 million and 10 million followers, not everybody telling you what they can do for you. And then you jump ship on me, go with them, and then try to come back after they damaged the goods already and say, hey, Spec, help me out. It's like, nah, now even I'm intentional about my relationships with people I do business with. It's like, nah, it's a principle thing. Like, you didn't go at me before and now they damaged everything. And now you come in with me to get sloppy seconds. Like, no, I'm good. So just having integrity and based on the people that I'm doing business with and just making sure that, they fit a standard with me and my team. Right. And it wasn't just me. It was my team that did all this. Right. I was just the leadership and the visionary, but my team executed on making it happen. And, as much credit, as much as, people want to give me the credit, it wasn't me. It was my team doing everything that they had to do, putting systems in place, making sure that, they was able to execute and work on these pages. And I just trained them up and they did the work. That was the difference. But in order for me to stay focused and stay motivated, it was all based on success. It was all based on success for me not to just fail, because I knew I had so many people counting on me, right? When you got so many people counting on you and you got all these employees and at the time I think I had 15 employees and their families is counting on me, and knowing that you have these different things that's going to go up and down, and knowing that you got to stay ahead of the curve and be a visionary when it comes to these things, because people that was in my same business, those same people that everybody went with, they're out of business right now. It was a company doing $45 million. They went bankrupt, right? It was another company named Digital Mavericks. They went bankrupt, right? I'm still here. I just won an award last year, right? Because you got to see in the future and understand, when do you have to pivot, right? When Instagram started, it was just a platform for photographers to do pictures. Right Amen. Now they are who they are right now. Facebook, when they first started, it was just about people connecting in college. Now they are who they are right now. So the same thing with me. Like, you got to be able to pivot in business, because one time when I first hit my $1 million, I started killing it. I hit, like, once I hit my first multi-million dollars, I made the fastest growing companies in America. I was killing it. Guess what? 3 months after I became the fastest growing company in America, I almost went bankrupt, because Facebook changed one thing after growing 1,600% growth in 3 years. He changed one thing and took my revenue from around like $200-something thousand a month to $50,000 a month. And my overhead was tremendous at the time. So I had to know that was coming, and I started preparing myself. So as soon as Facebook pulled the move on us, because they realized how much money we was making and they wanted to be Uncle Sam and they wanted to get a piece of the cut, I made a pivot. And I made a pivot and I transitioned in my company and I saved my company. And I did that numerous of times, not only through my company, but me as a personality, me as a brand, right? I started from Pretty Ricky and I ended up on reality shows, #1 reality show. I wrote a book. It became the #1 book, right? Best-selling author.
Talk about the book, because I didn't know
you have to please put the book info in.
I didn't know you had a book, Spec.
Starx, you read my book, bro.
No, I'm referencing a new book.
Okay, cool. So the spectacular love is my relationship book, right? So at the time I had
that book. I thought you were talking about a book in reference to business.
Yeah. I'm doing that right now. So I'm writing a book called The Spectacular Entrepreneur. And I'm gonna just talk about, ways and tools and everything that's gonna help everybody take their life to the next level in terms of personal development, growth, mindset, and tools for business. So Yeah, so I'll tell you about that book soon as it launches.
No, because
you always support me on that.
No, that's unfair because the relationship book helped so many black nerds across the country. So it definitely helped. It helped me, but it was a very good book. Specs book, and listen, we have 3 great books out of South Florida: Specs book, Trick's book, and Rick Ross's book. Those 3 books, I'm telling you, they're incredible books. So we're gonna we'll bring Spec back on a show. That's more Jill's vibe to discuss your book, because we need to unearth that now during this time, because a lot of folks probably now don't know that you wrote that book. And if you can talk about it briefly, what was that book about? And then we'll come back. I just want you to discuss, because it was an incredible book, Spec. It really was. Yeah.
So basically, I wanted to figure out how can I give back to my female fans. At the time, now I have 80% female demographic and 20% male. And I wanted to figure out a way to give back as much as possible to my fans. And one of the ways was relationships, because the average relationship lasts 6 months in my age range, right? It's statistics say that it lasts up to 2 years. So I wanted to solve that problem in my culture and saying, like, maybe they don't have the right tools to have an everlasting relationship at my age, and give them real tools and resources for them to have a successful and healthy relationship, and get out of toxic relationships. And I just came as a big brother, and not saying I'm this relationship guru, just saying, hey, listen, I've been in my relationship for 13 years, and these are the things that work for me. Throughout my journey of my ups and downs and my roller coasters, and how we worked out the things that was beneficial. And once I realized that I had something that might work with somebody else, you might not have the same exact results as me, but at least you have something that can help you and benefit you as someone who's 18 years old or 23 years old or 25 or 30 years old. Like, the average person is just too many options for them, and they're getting stuck. They're getting stuck right now because social media is something that's instant gratification, right? That's what it stands for. Instagram, instant gratification. And they're seeing everybody highlight reel. They're not seeing the ups and downs. They're not seeing what's behind the curtains. They're only seeing what the people want them to see. So therefore, you're comparing your relationship to a fantasy. That's what you're doing. Right. And now you're too busy looking at what everybody else have, and then comparing yourself to them, and not feeling like you don't have enough. So you're constant on this chase for enough, and you never get enough, because that's not real. Right. And that's what I pretty much put in my book. It's called Spectacular Love: How to Make Good Love Last. And this is me speaking as a big brother. I have 100% 5 stars. I have over like 60, I think over 60 ratings, and all of them 5 stars. And I put my heart and passion into the book. And yeah.
Well, let's talk about your socials for 2 seconds, because I need a little, be spectacular every day. So have you thought about doing like those motivational moments and things on like social media? I mean, literally every person on this thread has said, I need some of this every day. I need this motivation every day.
Let me see this comments. I see the comments.
Lots of comments. And I wanted to add 2 other things I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on the versus concept, and who is monetizing that? Is that a platform? It seems like it's going through Instagram or whatever, but are Swiss and Timberland making money from that? Like, who's making money from the verses?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know their business inside, but honestly, it looks like they started it as a free thing for the culture and realized they could monetize it as businessmen, and they took it from being on the regular celebrities channels and put it on their channel, created their own brand out of it. You had everybody else with 500,000 viewers, 600,000 viewers, 400,000 viewers. And they realized that, hey, we can put it on our channel. And not only that, it's confusing people on where to go. So let's put it and house it on one channel. So now we can build the brand up, and we can get more reach. And the people who love these type of verses, and now put them all in one spot at one time, and they monetize it based on viewership or sponsorship. Right. I know
so TV is a thing now. That is its own platform.
I don't know if it's a thing as if they created their own channel like this, but I know that they have their own social channel and they're able to monetize through sponsorship. Yeah.
Got
Yeah. So I don't know if they built out no technology or anything like that.
Right?
I don't think so.
But I mean, think of it, because that's a whole new economy that's being created from coronavirus, that all of these artists, Erica brought it up and people kind of poo-pooed it off, that, well, Erica Badu ain't hurt for no money. Okay, first of all, don't check nobody else's pockets. And secondly, art, that's how she was like, that's how I make money. I go on the road. I'm a traveling artist.
For sure.
I'm a concert artist. So now how, and so of course we were sitting doing the math. It's like, damn, if everybody paid $5, they'd each went home with $250,000 from what we just watched that night. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how does that, how do they monetize that? Because I'd have paid anything. I'd have paid anything to sit there and watch.
Sponsorship.
Yeah.
It's sponsorship. Yeah, that's why somebody tried to buy him out for multi-millions of dollars.
I'm asking you, would you look at that as a model that we would pay to see these shows, as opposed to being beholden to another big box sponsor?
I love what they're doing, because they're not taking money out of our pockets. They taking money out of the sponsors' pockets. So I'm gonna get the people here, and you want to get in front of this demographic, so you pay me.
You pay for it, yeah. You
pay me, and then you got the culture vultures that come and they try to come in and tap into our culture again. It's like, oh, this is where all the black people at. This is what the new thing is. Let's buy it and let's monetize it. And that's and I love what Tim and Swiss did. They were like, nah, you're not monetizing off of our culture. We're good. We will keep it and we will monetize it. And that way, when we get this money, we get to pour back in the community. So even though they're not selling it, if they do decide to sell it, hopefully they do sell it to somebody black owned, so it could continue, to have the culture and hand it back to the culture, which would be great because they can handle it with care versus taking it and being a culture vulture. So I love what they're doing. I think that is great that they started monetizing it, because now they can start compensating some of these talented people that's coming in and sharing this moment with the world. Because I mean, you had Teddy Riley and Babyface, like that was a phenomenal moment.
And I'm the Jill Scott, Erica Badu, I still get
that was phenomenal. That was
everything, and we want to support our artists.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the beautiful things about this moment is that, like, we are really kind of coming back to village and family. Like, I see all of these, apps popping up, Eat Black, all over the country. There's so many things that I think in this moment we'll be able to, to maximize and monetize within ourselves. And I also wanted to ask you, have you been tapped to do a masterclass?
Yeah. So my school, I have an online business school, and it's called Spectacular Academy. And that's what a lot of these, I heard a lot of people in the comments is saying that they've been in one of my master classes before. Yeah. So I started a master class a little over a year ago, and we have over 2,000 students in my master class. And I'm actually doing one this Sunday. I'm doing one this Sunday. And, I give a presentation just showing that, hey, this is not the average rapper, teaching you guys. And give some credibility, give some secrets. And then I talk about my online business school at the end of it. And that's it, and they jump into my school and they get taught by not only myself, but by my expert team and my millionaire mentors, speaking on their different skill sets that they're great at. So the guy who's teaching leadership, he runs over 2,000 agents. The person who's teaching YouTube in the program, he has over 1 million subscribers, making millions off of it. The person that's teaching marketing does $1 million in marketing, right? You got the person that's teaching you credit has $1.6 million in line of credit. So like everybody who's teaching you different things in the program are all super experts that's not only doing it for themselves, walking the walk, but actually can teach you guys in a way that you can take it in and you can go execute on some tangible items that you can go and make some real money off of, and things that the world is not teaching you because they're holding it to themselves, or they're teaching their wealthy friends or they're teaching their kids this, but it's not ending up in our culture because, the greats right now, they're too busy already doing what they're doing. So I'm just stepping up to the plate. I'm in these rooms. I have a billionaire mentor. I have, you know, these different people that's helping me throughout my journey. And now I want to take back that same information and pour back into the community. So now they can be able to get their life business, you know, create generational wealth, financial freedom. Yeah. And if they decide they want to work for somebody else, then that's a choice. That's not something that has to happen if you don't want it to happen.
Yeah. And that's where and how.
Yeah. So it's called, all you got to do, you can text me 786-661-1224. So 786-661-1224. Text me the hashtag masterclass. Okay. All right. And I'll send you the link. Say it again.
You said, say it again. I'll spec the number.
786-661-1224. Text the hashtag masterclass.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask a question. And I know we have about 12 minutes left on the show, and I know that your morning, you're on the West Coast, so it's really early for Spec over there.
Thank you, baby.
I appreciate him, and just so you guys know, his dedication to South Florida, specifically the Miami community, has never faltered. Spec texts me at for our time it was 3:00 in the morning, so for him it was still late. And he was getting ready to go to bed to make sure that he was still on the show. So I want to thank you so much for coming on, Spec. And we definitely need to have you again on a more high profile day. Friday is a very low engagement. You know that. Friday, your social media. So anyway.
From you all. What I wanted metrics in radio, but your ratings. You know what I'm saying? You get those every 4 months. So I am learning a lot from you all.
What I wanted to get at, Spec, is something that, and it's on the relationship tip in the book, you know, and it's something that I want people to understand about personality traits and people who are successful in business. There's a level of unselfishness that you have to have in business. And there's a level of loyalty that you have to have. And most people think that selfishness is what is needed to be successful. And I like the fact that in your book, you talk about how you made a decision looking at so many of these other artists that were having, you know, so many different women every night or every other week. How it was important to have one woman and to focus on that relationship. And in many instances, I look at your life and I look at the book, and you hear these two words, loyalty, which is literally, you know, allegiance, support to one specific idea, thing, or person, and then selfishness, which is self-gratification for pleasure. And it's so interesting how when you're loyal, it literally negates the ability to be selfish, because the moment that you're loyal, you now are putting something above yourself. And so many Black women are in that space where they're incredibly loyal, and they can't be selfish, right? Because that loyalty literally knocks against the ability to be selfish, right? It really does. It's impossible for you to have both. And so your book, you talk about that in the relationship sense, but look at how it spilled over into your business world. Look at how it spilled over into your relationships with business people and being able to so I wanted you to talk about, if you can, how you've been able to embrace that sort of loyal concept and in spite of outline, right? and make money, right? Like you kept your integrity, you kept who you are. That is so difficult to do. So I want you to get into, you know, how you were able to do that on the relationship side, on the business side, on the music. I mean, even with your discussion with Tory Lanez, right? Like my nephews heard about that and they came and told me like, oh, you heard about, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, my God, someone else, like Spec just keeps getting these people that are like very, very almost like leeches, and you still succeed in spite of that. So I wanted you, if you could, to get into that, because people really need to understand that your journey has not been this peaches and cream journey. It has literally been through fire and brimstone. So I really want you to, if you can, to get into that.
Yeah, the thing is, even like the Tory Lanez situation is, I don't really talk much about the things that happened to me. Even that situation, like it really got blown out of proportion the way it happened. But the fact that the matter was that, you know, throughout business, you have people that try to get over on you. And they take your kindness for weakness, and you put trust in them based on their words. And that's what I did in the whole Tory Lanez situation. You know, he told me that, you know, I was good, and, you know, I did a record with him. He didn't promote me at all. He just, you know, I paid him. I didn't want to come empty-handed, so I paid him money. And once I paid him the money, you know, he disappeared on me, right? And as I paid him the money, I went to work, because I went from his word saying I was good, and I pushed my record all the way up to top 20 on the radio charts. And as I'm pushing my record up the radio charts, I had Atlanta Records looking at the record. The CEO, Craig Kalman, chairman of Atlanta Records, was looking at the record. And Tory told me I was good, and then he had his record label snatch the record down. They had a cease and desist after he told me it was good. And he told me on his life, like, it was good. You're good, Spec. I got you. And then disappeared, didn't have my back. His label snatched it down, and I couldn't do nothing. I was $350,000 in the hole from paying him for the feature, the music video. And you see, I got so turned off of the music industry. I left the whole music industry. I never put the music video out. I was just turned off. I was turned off. You know, I took it as a lesson, and I focused more on my business. I actually lost I lost over $10 million because I wasn't focused on my business at the time. And I went to create multiple sources of income, and as an entertainer, and did the record with him and Rich Homie Quan, and it just didn't work out because of what Tory Lanez did. So I took that as a lesson, right? I took that as a $350,000 lesson that taught me like something so unique, that when you are killing it in your business, to make sure that you're putting your foot on the gas all the way to the floor. When you're killing it, that's when you go even harder. So many entrepreneurs go through the honeymoon stage. Like, when they're killing it, they're like, oh, I'm good. Let me sit back. Let me go over here now. Let me go chill. My team got this. And that was me. I was making multi six figures a month, and I felt like I did it, right? I went from $60,000 in my first month. My first year doing business, the next year, 200,000, to the next year, 2 million, right? It happened like that for me. But if I can do it all over again, I would have put my focus on the businesses as I'm winning, to go harder. That's your time to go hard, to make sure you don't let your foot off the gas, and make sure that you're going, you know, as hard as you can, and learn as much as you can learn, and try to be as resilient as you can at that moment. And he taught me a real lesson, and I never talked about it. I don't talk about a lot of this stuff. You know, I never talked about the Akons and the T.I.s and the Snoop Dogs and the Fat Joes and all these guys, you know, who didn't go at me in my business, and you know, the Tory Lanez running off on me, making me lose $350,000. I never went to the public and talked about that. You know, He just said something that made me have to defend myself, and I had to say, you know, what I said, and him talking about the record, and knowing that he put out grind on me without talking to me. He didn't clear grind on me, right? We seen your body, he put your body out, and then we cleared your body for him because we seen put it out. And this was after he did me wrong already. Woo. He actually did me wrong, ran off on me, charged me for a feature, and then after that, he came out and redid my record and asked me to be on his record. Yeah. And then I cleared his record. And I said to myself, yo, is this guy crazy?
Yeah.
I said, is this guy crazy? And I still cleared the record for him, helped him out, and I couldn't do the feature for him because I was on the road. And he came to my meet and greet. The first thing he said, "Oh, you mad at me?" I was like, "Man, it's all good, bro." I was like, "It's all good." And he was like, "I'll pay you back that money," because you know what he did, right? I spent the music video we even did. I spent 25 grand on the music video we did. I didn't even put it out because I was that turned off with the whole situation. He ended up signing the paperwork. Right after the fact, but the record was pulled down already. I decided not to even put the mute. He turned me off of music. I was like, that's it. I'm a full-time entrepreneur at this point. And I made more money than I would ever make in music. So that's why I see everything as a plus. You got to figure out what the plus is in this situation. Every single situation is a positive. It's a positive. So once you realize that, and you have that type of mentality and that mindset, then a lot of stuff don't bother you. Right. He literally gave me a $350,000 lesson that probably would have cost me millions of dollars. I know it would have cost me millions. So I took that 350 with a smile. And I say, thank you, Tory Lanez. Thank you for what you did for me, because you made me understand that when I'm doing business, not to take my eye off my business, and especially when I'm killing it.
Yeah.
But Spec, let me ask you that. That's the part that I'm trying to get so many of our followers. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, are you is he buffering for you?
Can you hear me?
He's not even coming up his sound at all.
Yeah, no. Can you hear me? No, now I
can hear you. No, I can hear you. I can hear yourself.
You can hear me.
I can hear you, but I can't hear him.
Oh, okay. Can
hold on.
Do sign language, bro. We got you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
He might have to jump back on.
Yeah, and there he goes. That's been happening, unfortunately. Where he is all day.
Technologies.
So so while we have a moment, give me your thoughts on where we are just as a country culturally. I am very blessed and fortunate. I wish I could have had you in front of my students. I teach media and marketing to students over the summer who are just brilliant. And I'm just so convinced that they got this. You know what I'm saying? And we just need to be, guidance, and guardrails to tell, like you said, okay, don't go over there. You don't need to stay on here. I'd like to know your thoughts in terms of where we go from here. I think there's an awareness that we can be self-sufficient, but don't know how to get there. And then just like you said earlier, there are many of us that are really scared to depend on each other.
Yes.
So what would you offer?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, perfect. I got a question after Joe. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
So where are we as a culture collectively in the world right now? So I think that we're really seeing a revolution right now in terms of us understanding our power as a Black culture and understanding that we do hold weight. And the fact that you're having people feeling guilty, and now they're seeing the power that we have, and they're now hiring executives now in their company. They're putting CEOs of other companies on their boards of these Fortune 500 companies. And now they're seeing the power we have. If they didn't see the power we have, you think they would care? They wouldn't care. But we know we can sit there and we can cancel you at any moment, and your revenue is going to drop dramatically. And they don't want that. From Taco Bell to Apple to any of these companies,
right,
that has benefited off of the culture. And they're realizing the power that we have. And now we're realizing the same thing. And by us coming together collectively, it's power in numbers, right? 2 heads is better than 1, 5 heads is better than 3, and so on and so forth. And we're understanding that. As a culture, we created some of the most amazing things. I talked to a wealthy white guy before. I was in Beverly Hills driving by, and I like to go just pop up on people. And I just talked to him, and I say, hey, what was something that, and mind you, we got into, I'm going to get into the next question I got into, and it's crazy because what's going on right now, how it fits with what's going on, this whole conversation I had with him. I was like, yo, what is something that just happened to you that was monumental when you was growing up? Because it was a lot of stuff wasn't around right now. What was that for you? And he said, the TV. He was like, when television came out, you was able to watch TV. That was groundbreaking for him. The next thing he said was the air condition. Say when the air condition came out, he was like, it was life-changing for him. But guess what? A Black person created the air condition. GPS, a Black person created the GPS.
Yep. Yeah.
You want it? A Black person created the folding chair. The Black person created the light bulb. You'll be in the dark right now if it wasn't for us.
For us, thank you.
You would still have a map right now if it wasn't for us.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be on the moon if it wasn't for us. right?
No,
You
you're
wouldn't
right.
have good AC and you'll be burning up in your house right now with your windows open if it wasn't for Black people. And I think we're understanding that as a culture, and we're understanding that we need each other. We need each other. As much as I need you, you need me. And it's vice versa. And when we are tapping into that even more and start to pour into each other and motivate each other instead of demotivating each other, right? And that's the reason why I don't talk about a lot of this stuff. Because no matter if I feel like, these guys did me wrong, it's still kind of like shedding light on the fact that they're not supporting another Black person, but it still brings some more negativity. And even like the Tory Lanez thing, I decided not to move forward with more of my truth because I felt like it was too out of place. It wasn't the right time and moment. If I did want to do that, we have a whole revolution going on, and I'm over here going back and forth with Tory Lanez, like about something 4 years ago. Like I didn't feel good about it. I literally had to leave it alone, and I could have hit him with so many facts that the whole world would have went against him. They would have been like, "Wow, you're a scumbag," right? So, but I didn't want to do that because not only I felt like I was putting another Black brother down at the time, right? Even if I know I was right, and he manipulated the people the way he presented his case, and I decided to just take it on the chin. I decided to say, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. So I'm gonna look the way I look right now, and if I want to address it in the future, then that's what I'm gonna do. But at this moment of time, it's too much going on for me to make it about myself.
And the truth is, when you throw shit, you get it on your own hands too. So, at a point, your walk in life will take care of itself, and so will his.
So let me ask you this, Spec, and that was what I was trying to get at. What you just said is a stage of growth, right? To have the mentality that you have right now, it took a lot of growth. And Felicia just texted me. She just texted me to say hello to you, and she's watching on her big screen. So she sent me a text message with her.
Text it to me, Star X.
I think he froze up again.
He's back. He's back.
So yeah, Spec, I wanted to ask, what was the growing process for you? Like, people don't just come out from an industry the way that you've come out of an industry with a very, very intelligent, logical and spiritual way of looking at things, right? Like, you've been fucked over so many times, and you didn't do just what you said. You didn't do a Kaya or whatever her name is, which she went crazy on Trina. Like, you have the ability to do that, grow your profile and become more known and all, if you truly wanted to, right? Knowing you have that ability, choosing not to do it, and knowing that the path that you took could possibly take you longer to get where you want to go as far as eyes on your platform, you went the righteous route, right? You went the route that unfortunately is the route of the prophets, right? You look at Isaiah and all these biblical characters, like, those are the routes that they took, but that route is so much more difficult than going the easy route. Why have you?
I'm going through the comments. So, are you back?
You're back. He's back. Maybe if you move into a different location, because that location.
He must have moved, because we don't have. All week we haven't had this problem. Are you in a different location, Star X?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Well, no. Let me get the question out. So that's the question. How have you? What has been the process of you getting to this point? So that your mind is able to make these critical thought process that you go through now, because otherwise we don't see other celebrities at all really behaving.
Damn. Who wrote the 3 books and titles? I want them. Papito Gonzalez.
Yeah. So if you can answer that, that'd be great.
The last part clipped out. Can you restate the last part?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, the last part was that what has gotten you to this thought process? What in your life, how have you made the decision to say, I am going to be the mature one, I am going to be the one to let this go? Because that's not your initial reaction. That's not the human initial reaction, right? Mm-hmm. Most people get stuck in their pain. Most people get stuck where they've been hurt, and they'll say, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to just do this, right? How did you prevent yourself from allowing to go down and embrace that energy when it's easier to embrace that energy, and your platform would be more popular because that's the energy people feed on? How have you been able to literally say, I'm going to be a stronger individual? What did that process, that growth process, look like for you?
Honestly, it's just me being me. Like I'm just the type of person that I want to build people up. That's just it. I want to build people up, you know, rather than turning them down, like and breaking them down. Like I want to see people win. You know, I want to see people win, and that's just what it is. You know, I don't want to see somebody struggling. I don't want to see somebody damaged. Like I want to see people win. I want to build people up. I want to make people stronger. And I just realized that we don't have enough of that. And I didn't get a lot of stuff on my journey. I didn't get a lot of support. I didn't get a lot of help. I did everything bootstrap. I raised no funds for this. I didn't even ask nobody for funds. And I just put my head down and worked. I just put my head down and worked and did what I had to do to get what I wanted. And at the same time, just figuring out who wanted to come with me. And because too many people, they're doing the opposite. Everybody is like what this person did to me. And then they go and they do the same thing back to that person. But how is that benefiting both of us? How is that benefiting both of us if I go and do you dirty the same way? You know, if I go do and now, you know, hurt people. So what they'll do is it'll happen to them, and then they will go do the same to somebody else. And that's why people in the music industry come in innocent, and then they leave disgruntled. And now they become a snake. They grow a snake head. Right. And they just do what the next person did to them. But I just refuse to do that because I know it's a way to do it without it. You know, no matter what, me not putting nobody on blast or talking about it or whatever, that didn't stop my success. So like, why tear another black man down for what? You know, even though he did it, hopefully he learns from it. And from that point forward, I just moved the way I moved. And if I ever decide I want to tell my truth, then I can tell my truth. You know, like right now, I'm saying it now. I started my company in 2014. This stuff happened to me, right? It's 6 years later, and you guys just hearing about it, right? But I want to, like you said, if I want to go ahead and clout chase or go viral right quick, like I know how to go viral. I put some red drawers on to go viral. I knew exactly. I did everything. I did everything on purpose. Like everything. The looking drunk, the red drawers, like. Everything. I did everything on purpose because I know I was going to monetize it. So I was like, what would make people go crazy right now? What would make people go crazy right now? What would make this go viral? What will give me the attention for me to grow my fan base, for me to monetize, because I knew I could monetize it. So so I know how to go viral. I was literally the first video to ever go viral for the culture. You can't name one person. You can't. No, I'm talking about the red draws video. You can't. She like the red draws video. You can't name one black person that went viral. I might have been the first to go viral, right? And I did it on purpose. Everything that I did was on purpose. So the point of me even bringing that up and saying what I'm saying is that I know how to get attention. I know how to make people follow me. I just started growing my social media following. Like I never cared about me. I always cared about others. And people started looking at me, was like, respect, you know, where's your number? So now, like just now on my Instagram, I grew 80,000 followers in 7 days. Like I can do this in my sleep if I want to, right? My page, I grew it to 1 million followers on Facebook in 365 days. And if I want to, I can, but I chose not to because I want to focus on others. But now, since that magnifying glass is on me, so now I'm growing my own social channels.
Yeah.
But
and you know what? Your platform as well. You're
damn. He keeps freezing up.
Well, listen, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, thinking we're gonna get a different result. So let's move, Star X. I don't know if we can move.
Oh, back for the win today. Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah, because at some point, both interviews have been like this all day today. And you know what? And you know, one of the greatest things that
can you guys hear me?
Yes, you're perfect, bro.
I'm live on the chat.
Yes. Is that, and I hope that resonated with everybody, is the greatest thing you can do for your own sanity and peace and karma is to move past that. You know what I'm saying? All of that is still happening over there. And guess what? Guess who's winning? Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
You're literally perfect, bro. You was one move away from a smooth interview.
Right.
I'm outside.
All right.
And I'm outside at the site where one of our ducks was murdered by a car, and then another car came in the back and picked the duck up and put him in the trunk of his car.
Great.
So
he's gonna make duck soup.
Right?
No, it was crazy, but that duck was a defender of the lady ducks.
Wow.
And no, it's another duck, very predatory. And he's having a full free reign on them. It happened 2 days ago.
So when they came, did he duck, or did they use duct tape on them when it all happened?
No, literally, this actually happened. We were on live. There's a duck with a mohawk, and he attacks the lady ducks, right?
Got you. Was he watching DuckTales?
I'm unsure.
Okay.
And so the other male duck would fight him and defend the lady ducks.
But the duck?
Yeah. And so the other male duck that was the defender of the lady duck got hit by a car. I watched it happen, and they collected the body, and now the duck with the mohawk is just wreaking havoc on those women ducks. So I try to look out as much as I can. But anyway, I wanted to ask you.
That's a sad story. I'm sad you had to cover that.
Right. What I wanted to ask, all jokes aside, is that where you are now, and as you begin to grow your company and hire more employees, where are you with the fundraising side of things, and how do you now give advice to entrepreneurs who have really great tech platforms or are founders of newly founded companies? How do you give them the advice on raising money, and how have you raised money for your platform?
Yeah, so I never raised money a day of my life. Every business I ever grew, I grew up from the ground up. And it's because I know how to market. I know how to turn everything into dollars. And I think the best gift I ever learned was how to market and brand myself. You know, and in return, by you learning how to market and brand yourself, you can eat forever, because I can turn any business to gold. Like we did a summit called the Ground Zero Summit. And this was man, I got so much stuff going on, but I have a group called the Power Circle, right? I don't have the group, but I decided to take my vision to get a bunch of Black and intelligent people together, and we all come together and share resources. We all share our knowledge. We all, be a sounding board for each other. And as a group collectively, we decided to come up with something that we can do during the pandemic to give back to the people. And what we came up with was teaching people our skill set, but not only that, but showing them our journey. So people right now, when the pandemic happened, even right now, they're feeling like it's the end of the world. But once you hear my story, then you realize that it's not the end of the world, right? You will get over it. The smoke will clear, right? The rain will stop and the sun will come out. And we was all telling our story, and we had 28 speakers come, and we did something similar to this, and we created Ground Zero Summit. And we had all these people come, and the testimonials was phenomenal, saying it was life-changing. But the point of that story is we made almost 6 figures, and we launched it in literally 6 days. We came up with the whole event in 6 days. But that's because I know how to market. Right. I know how to market, right? Shout out to Superphone. They literally emailed me, said, hey, the way that you market yourself just then on that virtual summit, we want to make that a testimonial. Like I'm on my phone right now, so I can't show you the actual email, but they just emailed me 5 a.m, Superphone, just saying like, hey, the way that you just did that was phenomenal. We want to use you as a case study. That's because I know how to market, right? And I know how to build email lists and everything. So I don't really have to raise money like that. It's great to have somebody else believe in you. And when I realized how raising money worked, I was like, hold up. So you mean to tell me somebody's going to give me money for my vision, and they don't get any money unless I sell this? And if I never sell this, I don't have to give them nothing? I was like, wow. So I never raised money, even though I know that's how it works. right? I never raised money, even though I know how that worked. But I did start a company that is going to change a lot of Black people's lives and influencer lives. So I took what I was doing before and I merged it into what's missing in the world right now. Right now, people don't know how to invest. Right? If I ask somebody right now how to invest in the stocks and everything, nobody knows how to tell you. If I go and go to an influencer and say, hey, do you have a product? And they're like, no, I don't have a product, but you're getting paid from Fashion Nova, Little Things, and Fit Tea, and all these different companies because you don't know how to create your own brand. So these culture vultures are coming and they're benefiting off your fan base, off your influence, and they're building their brand and they're creating this residual on the amount of customers that they're gaining from you, and the lifetime value is not what you're getting access to, right? You're getting this one little, nugget that they're giving you. They're throwing you a bone, and then that's it, and they make millions of dollars off of you. So with this business, I decided to put these, 3 Black executives together, and we all came together to create this company called Social Seed, where basically we're changing the way that the average person support their favorite influencer. So we have a incubator system where we actually help influencers create a business model and a business for their brand. And then we create their own business. So we make them the next Kylie Jenner. We make them the next Oprah. We make them the next, person who create a product from zero and then be able to make it $100 million company or a multi-million-dollar company. And we help them run the company. But then this is the key that's going to change the game. We make the people who support them anyway micro investors, so they're able to be investors in their favorite influencer product. And not only that, but they become advocates of it. So they become the self-promoters. They get involved in the creative stage of it. They get involved they have a say-so. And now with this platform, we have it where we're building the technology out where now they can diversify their portfolio. So not only that, we take your money and we put it into that one influencer, and then we diversify your portfolio with the other products that we have so you can win. And we're building the incubation system, the accelerator system to make sure that you are able to invest not only into the person that you want to invest in, but other companies at the same time. So
let me tell you something. Before you finish that statement, in the time that we have been on this live spectacular, 2 people have sent money to my Cash App.
Wow.
Thank you for this conversation. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I mean, not exactly what you're saying is what, and we didn't even talk about this, but I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, well, why is 2 people just said,
nope.
But
nobody sent me no goddamn money.
Goddamn money, nigga, because you couldn't keep shit.
Your phone breaking. I mean, your computer breaking up. That's why.
But you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's the energy. It's the kismet. It is that you let that bitch ass Tory Lanez go in his direction. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. But just as you said, and I'm thinking I need to be on that. I was like, wait till I tell him 2 people just Cash App me money for no solicit. We ain't got no Cash App, nothing up on here. But that's cool. You walk the walk. You spread that love with everybody you touch. That's what that is.
I want to show you guys really quickly. Wow. And I know you have a hard stop soon. Wow. I wanted to show everyone the amazing brands that that Spec has worked with. And this is his website. It's absolutely beautiful. Whoever did this did an incredible job with the website, Spec. So I wanted people to see just your website and you guys can go. Do I qualify? What we do, right? Our clients, case studies, see more. He has his ink. I mean, this is, he has Trina. Oh God. He has Kevin Gates. He has Kennedy Summers. He has Bone Thugs and Harmony, Amazon, Pepsi, Snickers, Colgate. You guys, so many people, Spec, are coming on, and they just don't know, right? They had no idea that Miami's Own is doing such an amazing job in the corporate world. And so because of your humbleness and because of the person that you really become So many folks, I'm looking at the comments and someone's like, Spec is my new bestie. I can't wait to take this forward. No, seriously. And so, you know, we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are going to benefit from taking your course, and your courses are so reasonable. And I go on your Instagram all the time. And the thing that I love is that when you do your interviews with these influencers, with these business owners, with these magnets, right? Folks get almost surprised, like, how did Spec get an interview with this person, or how is he connected to this person? Because they don't see the side of you that you're showing on this live in a very real sense, right? How have you been able to maintain that authenticity of the person that you are on and off camera? I mean, this is the person that I'm walking around at South by Southwest with, eating donuts and drinking beer with, and then he hops on stage and performs for thousands of people, get off stage, and his brother Blue, who's an incredible guy, get off stage, and just, you're literally the guy from Carroll City, the guy from Miami, the guy from, like, how have you been able to maintain that sort of dichotomy and not lose yourself in the process?
I just think it's staying humble. It's staying humble. And it's certain things that happen in my life that make me understand how I should act if I decide to act any different. And, you know, like I said earlier, my mentor is Jeff Hoffman, and I met him at Black Tech Week, and he became my mentor from that day forward. Of course, we built a relationship that ended up to him mentoring me. But man, he put me in a position to learn how to act. And I did my first speaking engagement in Hawaii, and I looked at the agenda and I seen his name on top of my name. He went right after me. And I was so excited because I was like, man, this is my mentor, and he's about to see me speak for my first time ever on stage. And as I went through that process and I seen him, I was like, wow, like, it's my mentor. I was excited about the whole thing. And after I spoke, he coached me through the whole situation. He said, Spec, you got it. You always on stage. You got this. I was nervous as hell. I was cussing everybody out. Like, you know, I was really nervous. And I did it. I killed it. He gave me congratulations, everything. So now it's dinner time. We're at this table. And first of all, it was another lesson I learned. This guy, he was at the table bragging about how much money he was making. And my mentor is right next to me. And so he asked my mentor, and he was like, yeah, so what you do, right? After he was bragging about how much money he was making. Oh, he's like, oh, I co-founded Priceline. So the guy whole face just dropped. He was like, wait, what? It's like, he was like, wait a minute. So he was over there bragging, right? And trying to, like, you know, stun on the whole table. And he got over to, like, asking everybody. He got to my mentor, and he told him he co-founded Priceline, you know, sold it for $64 billion. Like, the guy whole face dropped. But that's not even the punchline, right? So he got my mentor got up because he seen me, I had food. And then I didn't get no drink. Like, he seen I was eating, and I looked thirsty to him. So he literally got up and he was like, Spec, you want something to drink? I was like, man, if you don't sit down, you're not getting me nothing to drink. Like, sit down, bro. Like, and he was like, no, I got this. And he asked the whole table. He's like, he didn't answer the whole table. He asked my girl, my fiance, he was like, do you want something to eat or drink? You're good. And she said the same thing. No, like, you know, sit your rich ass down. Like, no, you're not getting me nothing. Right. This man, this multi-billionaire gets up and go walk. It wasn't even close. He walked like 15 yards to go and get me something to drink and bring it back to the table. And from that day forward, I realized that I'm no bigger than anybody. I don't care who you are. Yeah. I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care if you're a bum. I don't care if you're anybody. My dad taught me this as a young age. Like, no matter who you are, respect everybody the same. Yeah. But this was on a whole nother level. The fact that this guy could get up out of his seat, walk 15 yards just to go get me something to drink because I don't have it at the table at the time. Yeah. And that just taught me that you're no better than nobody, no matter who you are. Because my money compared to him now, I got a couple dollars and I ain't got no multi-billion dollars yet. Right. Like, I don't have that yet. So at the same time,
you'll be there.
Yeah, it's coming. No, it's coming. Right. I said yet, key word, right? Because I'm making it there, right? But the point of the fact of the matter is he didn't have to do that. And I got guys who make a couple $100,000 or $1 million, and they feel like you can't talk to them. I gotta, I don't want to talk to you, or they feel like they're too good, but I got a billionaire that's going to get me water.
Stimulus check, and you couldn't talk to me.
I got, so that's the thing, right? So he taught me how to have humility and make sure that I know better than nobody. It changed my mindset, and that's just what it is. I would never treat nobody like they're lower than me. I would never. It don't matter how much money you got. If you have a head on your shoulder, and even if you don't have a head on your shoulder, it's my job. I'll be a disservice if I know information that you need to better yourself. If I know that I can say something to motivate you or to make you have a change of mind in the way that you do things that's going to impact you positively, then it's my job to take that opportunity to do so. If not, then I'm doing a disservice to myself, and not only to me, but to that person also, that I can be a voice for them. I just posted on my Instagram to my closest friends to say, hey, if you have influence and you're not doing something positive or making an impact in your community, then you're an asshole. Yeah. You're an asshole. And that's just what it is, right? You need to be able to take what you have to better others, because it's not about you, right? God said, don't pray just for yourself, pray for others. Pray for others. Don't pray for yourself. Don't say, hey, God, I hope this plane don't kill me. It's like, no, protect everybody on this plane for all of us to get and land to our destination safely.
So, Spec, let me ask you something. We got about 5 minutes left, and I wanted to ask you, as you transition, right? We used to talk about fitness. We used to talk about health and fitness, and you've been able to not turn into one of those R&B stars that gained a lot of weight, and no, seriously, you see that a lot, right? Like, I got in a car just now, and I was telling Felicia that I'm concerned because no one sees this, but my stomach is
hitting the steering wheel.
I had to back up the seat, but now the computer is perfectly lodged between my stomach, the steering wheel, and shut up, Jill. Just be quiet. Right.
I know the pain.
And so now, people want to get better. Want to improve their lives. And all jokes aside, Jill and I really talked about a very serious sense of launching a robust health initiative. Actually, we were supposed to start it on this Monday. And this whole week, I've been, reviewing all these restaurants, eating burgers and carrying on. But more importantly, how have you been able to seriously maintain this balance, right? Like, you've been able to balance your health, you've been able to balance fitness, and still, when you get ready to perform, you can get on that stage like you're still 21 years old, right? How have you been able to balance all of this stuff? Like, people don't know these things about you. I have the respect for you because I know it. You have a fiance, you have kids, you have a family, you have a mother, you're involved in all these things, and now you're growing this business. How the fuck are you doing this? Like, that's important. People need to understand, this isn't something that you wake up how is your day structured? How do you balance all of this stuff? Because I struggle with, I really struggle with. So how
energy though. So it just, and I'll add to that because it feels like, so you're walking in alignment. And so that gives you the energy, the purpose, the determination, all of that, that is really a focus, is being able to be in alignment with why you're here. Just what he just said about the millionaire getting up to get him some water. And it so changed everything because he understood that there's so much of his grace, that millionaire's grace comes from the way that he treated Spec, and vice versa. And it's like if you walk by a homeless person and you're eating and something just says, you know what? Are you hungry? Here you go. Oh, no problem. You need anything else? And the store is right down the street. It's those kind of moments, that sort of empathy, that going back to what you said about seeing your mom and your dad in that space, those kind of things just get ingrained in you and they make you feel good. And that sense of, you can he's almost glowing, damn it. You know what I'm saying? That's a good light, I know, but a lot of that is an inner glow that's coming from him because he's walking in alignment with who he is. I'll let you finish.
But that's the thing. How have you made that balance? Because still, we're walking in alignment, but
No,
I'm walking with a
the problem.
But we are. No,
No,
I'm saying, like, that's the thing. Hear me out, right? Like, that's the thing, right? When you say walking in alignment, I had a conversation about the difference between purpose and desire, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people in life, they desire things, right? And
Mhm.
they move in a manner to attract and to obtain those desires. But
Right.
desires are fleeting, desires are superficial, but
Mhm.
purpose is intangible, right? And purpose
Mhm.
is always intangible. And so that intangible walk sometimes has baggage, right? So we can be walking on our purpose, but we're holding a lot of baggage, and you've been able to literally shed that baggage, right? And so that's what I'm asking. Like, so people watching this, they're entrepreneurs, they have ideas, but they have all this baggage, whether it's their weight, whether it's their family, whether it's their health, whether it's all these things. You've been able to sort of mitigate those problems and then prevent them. And so that's the difference. I'm asking, like, being young, being in your 30s now, and still being able to have the vitality to go perform, to do conversations, speeches, grow your social media, manage your personal romantic relationship with your fiance, your kids, your family. That's a lot. And that's this excuse that so many people use and say, well, I'm not able to do this because I got all these things going on. But here you are, you pan over and there's a fucking dry erase board in front of your fucking television.
That's how, right.
I want you to talk about that a little more.
Okay, that's exactly how.
But that gives people strength, right? And that gives them the sort of like a preamble before they take your course to know who they're learning this stuff from. So I think that's important for you to get into.
Yeah, first thing first is in terms of companies is really just having partnerships with different people that's going to run the company, and I have 14 businesses. I have 14 businesses, 80% of them multi-million-dollar businesses, and the game plan is to make sure that I stay focused and disciplined. So in terms of the gym, I just have different triggers. So in order for you to stay consistent with something, you got to have triggers. So for me, as soon as I leave the office, the first thing I do, my first trigger is go straight to the gym. So no matter what I do, I would never get off track because I know as soon as I wake up, I brush my teeth, right? As soon as I wake up, after I brush my teeth, I meditate. Like, and everything is triggers and a routine. So as you're able to do these routines, you're able to stay focused and stay on track because it's triggers. And that way it's consistently happening over and over and over again, and just focusing on one day at a time. Too many people focus on 5 years from now, a year from now. Like, it's good to have the vision there, but in order for you to get massive results, it only take 1% increment and changes for you guys to get to that 100% you're looking for. And just make sure that you guys are doing everything that you got to do around you, when in terms of your team, motivating them, making sure that everything that you say is positive. If you got something positive to say, you say it in front of everybody. If you got something negative to say, you pull them to the side and you tell them personally. You don't say it to everybody in person, and that's how you build leadership, and you praise them, right? And anything that you want and you want to focus on as an entrepreneur, you put praise on it. If you want people to come in the office early and come on time, then everybody that come early, then you got them clap it up as soon as they walk in the office. They're going to feel good about that, and start building that up, man. And there was a few questions asked. I don't know what all I done missed out on, but it was definitely the businesses and discipline and yeah, like I didn't, and you was talking about purpose, the difference between purpose and desire. And for me, God told me my why. God told me my purpose. He literally sent me a messenger that had a conversation with me about, his message to me. And literally after he gave me my message, everything that the guy told me came true once I agreed. Once I agreed to God's wish. Yeah, to God's wish. And And that's what I've been fulfilling. I've been fulfilling my part of the bargain and doing what he put me on this earth to do, which is what I'm doing right now. And I got more to go. And, these different companies to help everybody out, from the Power Circle that I launched with all people of color, and to share resources and to uplift each other and be a soundboard for each other. I'm creating, that's created. We're rolling out membership in the next 30 days for that. So we have that. We have the social seed to be able to invest in your favorite influencer. So when the next Kylie Jenner happens and they sell it for $500 million, you as a micro investor from day one, you're going to get a cut of that, because you're a part of making them famous. You're a part of the product blowing up.
Wait a second. Let me put a pin in that. So you have a platform where, if I'm an influencer, okay, I can't deal with Jill. That's why I keep taking you off camera.
What?
What is going on with your ceiling? Like something's dropping on you?
It's freezing. I'm freezing in here, and I don't want to move.
Okay. So anyway, so there's two things that I wanted to touch at that you just said, right? One, I wanted to get into, you were talking about triggers and it's funny how you talked about triggers in a positive sense, right? So many people, their triggers are unfortunately in a negative respect, especially when it comes to diet, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to routines. Certain things trigger us to eat things that are bad for us, and we don't sort of pay attention to those things. But I wanted you to get into that, but I wanted you to talk about this potential business that people can invest in. I didn't hear you mention this. Are you saying that, let's say Jill Tracey came on here right now and she had an incredible voice and she went viral just for that, right? You have a platform where you now take that artist or you take that individual, and there's a space for us to invest in their career. How does that, can you go into that a little?
Yeah, so it's similar to what you said, but it's based on products. It's product based. So we'll see Jill Scott, she go viral, and then we approach Jill Scott. We say, hey, Jill Tracey. Okay, so Jill Tracey, personality. So you have Jill Tracey, right, as an influencer, right? And say, for instance, she has massive influence. We'll take Jill and we'll just say, hey, we will have you come in, and we will figure out what product best fits your brand, and then we will help you create the product from scratch. And now you have a business, and we added into a system that's proven. And with this company, we have a guy who does e-commerce, right? He's a Black executive that does e-commerce, and he makes $1 million a week off of general products. And then we have a guy who had a health company that had 100 employees that he managed, and he ran his business, multi-million-dollar business. Then we have another executive who had, who raised, $30 million and had a $30 million company, and end up, coming together. And we put these 4 executives together, and now everybody, we hire for our weaknesses, right? But that's what we did as a partnership. We came together with our weaknesses and everybody's strong point. And now we have we call ourselves the Fantastic Four, where now we get to build any business together, right? So Jill, you have a business, and then we take that business model after we figure out what's the best thing. All right, cool. We do some glasses. All right. She wears glasses. Let's get some great glasses for her, and let's put a brand on it, or let's call it a brand, and let's get her core supporters to first invest in it as the first seed round. It's like basically the friends and family round, right? The friends and family round that you guys are gonna have, right? And now you have the first 500 people can invest $500 and own a percentage of the company. So now we take that money and now we invest in the product, and we get inventory. We put it on marketing and everything. And then the first 30 days, we do $1 million in revenue. And then we take that $1 million and we say, hey, Mr. Investor, in 3 months, we just gained $3 million from a product we just started from scratch. Hey, Mr. Investor, give us $10 million for 20% of the company. And Mr. Investor, give us $10 million for 20% of the company. And now we have a company that's doing $1 million a month. And now you, as the micro investor, now has equity stake in that company. So now we go do that as a technology company, and we do that to 10 major influencers. And now we build the same model, right? We build it out, we test it out, get it at 100,000, then boom, we got a proven model. And then we get the influencer involved. And then once we get the influencer involved, the micro influencers get involved. And now we take that capital and we scale it up to $1 million a month, get the investors to come in for 20% of the company for $10 million. And now we do that with 10 brands. And now we raise $100 million. And now as you're a technology company, you get the 10X the evaluation. So now you have $1 billion company that I'm going to exit within the next 4 years.
So like for instance, the Popeyes chicken lady, Aunt Jemima is off the box of the pancakes, right? Because it's racist and she was a mammy and all that shit. But the Popeyes chicken lady, if she wanted to start her own chicken company, for instance, would she be an ideal candidate for this? If she said, look, I don't want to be your caricature anymore. I want to now go start my own chicken farm.
Correct. So we have a formula that's based on like engagement, social media followers, or if we can do it with that person, but we will have, it's so many candidates out there. We can do it with other people, but yeah, we can take her and we can create another product, the same exact type of product. And now we can market and target the same people that like that product.
Right.
So now we can transition the wealth. We can transition it from over here to now in her bank account versus her just getting a little commission or royalties or a little fee. And that's how we're changing the game. Like you're no longer the puppet. You're now the boss. You now have ownership and equity in your own brand, in your own company. And now you have more control. And by us having this, now we're able to provide more jobs to the community because now we have this multi-million-dollar company that we're looking for workers. We're looking for people to do customer support. We're looking for, so as we start building this thing out, everything makes more sense to why we need to do this for the culture because we don't have ownership. We're just getting paid that one-time fee and then that's it.
We had 2 questions from the audience, Beck. The first question was from Anthony Malcolm, and he wanted to know, have you built anyone with an unapologetically Black brand or branding?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anybody who has a major audience, and if me and my partners decide to start building it up, then we can build it up. That's just a fact. No matter who it is, if me and my team decides that this is the person we want to work with, it's nothing to build the brand to millions. It's nothing to build the brand social media up and get some brand equity. It's nothing to do that. We know how to do it with our eyes closed. So we can build any brand, no matter who it is. I built a cat to $100 million. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
The next question is, what level of influencers are you working with, and how could people gain an entry point into working with you or learning from you?
Yeah, so my online business school is called Spectacular Academy. And I give you guys the number to text, if you decide at the end of it, you guys want to invest in yourself and take, more into my mentorship, then you guys can do it. If not, then I have a podcast called The Spectacular Experience, nothing but free game on there you guys can learn from. And my social channels, and I decided to step down from CEO of AdWazar so I can focus more on the community. And right now I'm actively looking for a CEO for my agency AdWazar so I can give more and do more of these and give more content and more visibility for my brand to help the community more and focus more on my school because I'm really reaching the masses with my school. And, we created 17 millionaires so far. And
congratulations.
Yeah. And we through our school, our students make 36 million total through, the last couple years of becoming a school.
And the second question, Spec, was, what type of products or brands have you been successful with?
Anyone that's willing to work with me.
There you go.
So guys, I know Spec has to get his day started. Spec, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Jill, we're gonna have you back on with a more purpose conversation as far as the business side, because we really want our audience to be able to engage with you. And we know that I know on a personal level that not only does your course work, but it gives you actionable steps to do. It's not fluff. It's not something that you're going to leave there scratching your head trying to figure out the esoteric information. It's very, very, very broken. It's broken down to a level that a kindergartner can understand and be able to be successful. And so before you go, I wanted you to just give people the last little bit of nugget of advice. As you look toward the future, you know, you have several companies, you've been successful. How do you get to the point where you don't become complacent, and that you create more drive to scale your goal and not become, you know, hey, I made a couple million, I'm good, I'm going to go ahead and chill, or I'm going to back off? What creates that fire to keep you going, even when you lost so much money with the pandemic? I mean, excuse me, with Facebook doing fuck shit, and then you now having to overcome the fuck shit and then keep going. That sort of perpetual nature that you do with your business, one, and then two, how do you like find the next level when people may even get stuck at a level and say, hey, look, I really don't know where to go with my business right now. How do I get to that next level?
Yeah. So for me, it's clear for me, because my goal is to see more people succeed. And I'm doing that through my program. So my goal is to have as many millionaires as possible. You know, I would never get complacent because I know what my mission is. And we have millions and millions and millions of people. Like right now, we have over 30 million people unemployed. So even that alone, I have work to do. I only have 2,000 students, right? I need millions of students that's learning real life information that is tangible, that you can go and put your best foot forward and get the results that you want to create generational wealth. And I would never get complacent, because I did that with the whole Tory Lane situation. You know, that he really taught me a real lesson. It was a real lesson. I'm so thankful for it. You know, it cost me $350, but you know, I really feel like I would have been making hundreds of millions and did that, and then like lost hundreds of millions of dollars. And it was just a great opportunity for me to learn. So I just know what my mission is and why I'm on this earth. You know, God gave everybody a gift, and it's up to you guys to put your best foot forward and live up that full potential on who you can be in life, and take it serious. You know, a lot of people are sitting on their gifts right now. You're sitting on your talent and you're not doing nothing with it because you're waiting for somebody to hand you the roadmap, or you feeling like you don't have enough to get started. But you have enough. Everything that you have is enough, and you just got to take what you have and then get the first foot going. Once you get the first foot going, then the next foot will follow. And every time you take a step back, then figure out how to make it a major comeback. You know, you got the little cars where you push it back, you push it back, you push it back, and you take those steps back and you let it go and you fly forward. You got to think of your life like that. You know, so every single failure, every single thing that happened that doesn't go as planned is all lessons. You know, people call it L's, but we call it lessons. That's what it's about. You know, and never do a deal while you're desperate. That's what I got two mentors. Well, I have three mentors. Master P said that. Never do a deal while you're desperate. You know, and focus on you. Focus on always becoming better. Focus on always building the people around you, and add value to the people that you know need the help. And in return, it's going to be reciprocated. And if it's not reciprocated from that person, then it's reciprocated from the universe. The universe will figure out how to give you back what you gave out. So whatever you put out is what you get in. All right. And make as many deposits as possible. Right. And as less amount of withdrawals as possible. Right. No matter what you do, give your all. Be a person of integrity, because shit come and bite you in your ass, right? No matter what you think, and you might think you got away with that, but you ain't get away with it.
Never.
You ain't get away with it, right?
Never.
And you might feel like, all right, that money was worth it at the time, but it ain't, because somebody might be talking and have an idea or a venture for you or opportunity for you, and they talk to the person that you messed over, and now you never even got that call. You never got the call because you did something distasteful. And now, not only that, but now your name is ringing in the industry that nobody wants to call you. So now you don't even know. So I call that invisible money. You'll never see that money. It's gone. It's gone because you decide not to do the right thing. So you might feel like it's the end of the world for you right now, but the sun always come out. When your back is against the wall is when you see your full potential. So feel good and tap into that uncomfort that you're having as someone who don't have what you have right now, and be willing to put the work in and do the things that others don't want to do to get what others don't have.
Respect. Don't get mad.
See, that's the Jesus cut you off.
It's the devil.
Say that. Please hashtag.
You spoke a word right there for massive statement when you said, "Don't take a deal when you're desperate."
That was
you know what's so fucking crazy? And then you know what else you said about how folks do things and they don't think that, and not just a karmatic principle that things are going to come back to them, but we literally had a situation like this. And I'm going to double down on what you just said because it just happened to Black Tech Week. It just happened to COVID Fever. There was an.
Okay, and listen, let me tell you, Spec. So you can't see the comments, but you all, yes, I just put my Cash App under my name because people, as you're talking, they're like, we want to bless you. And and you can't deny your blessings. You know how sometimes you just don't know how to receive them? Mm-hmm. And then, thank you, Spec. I'm just gonna say being a blessing.
This shit, God damn it. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So what I was getting at, Spec, was that we had a woman who.
Why did he just stay in the car? What was that about?
I don't know what's happening. No. It was getting hot in that fucking car. So we oh
my god,
the woman was doing this fuck shit, and Felicia was like, "Look, don't play into that, And we were desperate. And I was like, "Listen, like, there's a lot of money attached to this for us to do the work that we need to do, and I'm gonna go forward with it." And so she was like, "No, Starks, don't.
Well,
I followed the lead of what she said, and Spec, literally, in 3 weeks, the situation of that woman, the fuck shit she was doing, unraveled. Not only did she
okay. Is he gone?
You dropped a lot of gems there, and I wanted to just kind of let you end the show with, on that note, how do people and they see that deal as their lifeline? How do you become sort of discriminating and understanding that you're taking something because it's good for you and not out of desperation when
you're breaking up? Listen, Star X, in order to get what you want, you got to make sacrifice. Go back to the car. Take the sacrifice. Let's wrap.
You're right. Okay. God damn it. And I don't have my fucking keys because I don't know where the keys are. Shit. Okay, this hot ass shit. And these fucking leather seats. Okay.
So I need you to sit in them leather seats.
All right. So what I was saying is how do you now that statement was so powerful, but how do you help people when they are desperate and they do have these small businesses, they have a platform, and when you are at your lowest, you find yourself really thinking that there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes you think that desperate decision is the blessing. How do you know the difference? And when you know the difference, I'm sorry?
Yeah, I said, watch this. Now listen to this. Think back. When you was at your lowest of your low and you felt like it was the end of the world. Tell me what happened after that. You made it through it. You still alive. Like, you still here. Like, it doesn't matter what situation you're in. You're going to overcome it. You're going to get through it. So don't focus on the issue. Just double down on doing everything you can to put your best foot forward. That's it. If you got to lose something, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But stay with integrity and just put your best foot forward and do everything in your power to make sure that whatever you don't want to happen, that you're doing what you have to do. It might be reaching out to people. It might be being more resourceful. It might be investing in yourself. It might be maxing out your credit cards, whatever you got to do, but it always gets better. And you just learn from it. It makes you more resilient. So no matter what you go through in life, it will always be a lesson that just makes you stronger. I can think of the glass half empty with the whole situations of what I went through with my company, or I can think of it as a positive thing and say, hey, this is what happened to me. And a lot of these different situations, I was then a bankrupt of my company. Mm-hmm. So I done went through these ups and downs and struggling and having these deals that I know are multi-million-dollar deals, and they don't decide to go with me. But I just get up, I shake it off, I learn from it, and I get stronger. If you break your bone right now, when it grows back stronger. Yeah. When you break it again in that same exact spot, it grows back even stronger. Now it's even harder to break. You're the same way. As you're breaking down, you come back stronger. You break down again, you come back stronger. And it's harder and harder and harder to break you because you done been through so much and you done been through ups and downs. It's nothing that nobody can do you to break you again because you're that strong of a person.
Spec, I want to thank you so much for your time and these words of wisdom. Always a good conversation with you. When you come back in town, I have a bottle of Uncle Nearest that I want you to try. That Jill turned me on to. It's a black-owned whiskey brand.
You giving him the bottle I gave you? I will give him the bottle.
No. You never gave me the bottle, Jill. You didn't give it to me. We drank a little bit at your house, and I left.
One?
Huh? I bought one.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. So it's really great.
Thank you very much.
And today is Juneteenth. So how are you celebrating Juneteenth before we let you go? How are you celebrating today?
I celebrated by doing this interview. You know, I know we've been talking back and forth, and I decided that, if I was going to do this interview, even if I had to wake up 6:30 in the morning to make it happen, that's what I did. So I decided to jump on here with you guys to give back to everybody to celebrate this holiday. And that was really the game plan. And I didn't even realize that I was Jill over there. No, I didn't even realize it was you over there. And that's why I said Jill Scott, because I thought he was talking about the verses. So I was like, oh, that's Jill Tracey. I was like, oh, okay. So now I get it now. All right. But yeah, I just wanted to give back, man, during this time, even if it's however many people was on, like God put everybody here, everybody that's seen this for a reason. If you guys have a replay, everybody that's going to hear that, God met for you to hear that. So that's why I'm here on this day. And, doesn't matter who's on. And, it's about giving back during this time.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you have a blessing in more ways than one. So I hope that you will come on Hot Talk with me as well. So I'll get your info. Okay. Because I'm on. Last time I was with you, I was on 99 Jams. Now I'm on 105.
Okay.
Back again on Hot 105. So and I do Jimmy. You remember Chief Jimmy Brown's talk show?
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday nights. I do that now.
Nice. And then as I was hearing your voice, it all clicked. I was like, man, all right, her voice do sound familiar. I was like, and everything kind of clicked to me all at one time. So yeah, it's amazing. Yep.
Well, I will get your info from StarX, and I would love to have you on Hot Talk as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you
Thank
for having
you.
me. Thank you for everybody that's listening. If you guys want to hit me up, I am Spectacular on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. All my social channels are the same. Love you guys. Peace.
Love you, man. Bye-bye. Oh, that was awesome. Yo, that was a StarX. You get stars and Spectacular. Wish I had fireworks to shoot off for you because he was, he's Spectacular is he's really a blessing.
No,
And he really is walking in his gift, and that's why he's so, and I think I think one of the most powerful things about him is that he understands the connection of giving from a place of this is what God's given me to give you, and that's everything else is going to take care of itself. And he is real clear on that, and that's why he's so successful.
And what's really crazy, Jill, is that Spec is I think I'm just 2 years older than him, and he has a wisdom. I can. A lot of folks think that I'm intelligent and all these things, but it's Spec's wisdom is just so profoundly beyond his years. And I've spoken to him, and it's funny that when we talk, I'll say a word and he'll go, what is that? What does that word mean? And I'll joke around and tell him the definition of a word. And then he'll turn around and give me an analogy that stayed with me for 5 years. And that's a big difference from knowing words and definitions and understanding the way life works and understanding the way, I've had so many relationship problems that I've literally had to get Spec to navigate me through, because he's just really, I'm serious. He's a really good brother. And I appreciate the professional friendship that I have with him and his brother Blue, who, they're just ride or die for South Florida, ride or die for Miami. And I love the fact that he carries that everywhere he goes. So he represents Miami on the West Coast, in New York. When he's on these interviews, we don't really, and I'm not saying we're big and bad here, but Miamians, we don't take shit from people. We don't really do well with people trying to come at us a certain way. And you can see that with the way that even Luther Campbell responds when he's attacked, the way that, the way that we respond to attacks, right? And look at the way Spec just kind of takes it with this stride and humbleness. It's just amazing.
But you know what? That comes from having a lot of. I'm not going there. He's. I'm just not going there. Because I just learned something from him. So I'm not even gonna. I'm not gonna go there.
No, and so that's amazing. And Juneteenth, guys. I'm gonna pull up. Hey, Janae, if you're still watching, can you post your high-low article? Janae did such a great job on this Juneteenth article. Let me pull it up for you guys just so you can know what's happening in South Florida for Juneteenth, so that if you want to go celebrate and while practicing social distancing, you can
go celebrate. And I want to just shout out while he's looking for that, just everyone who is on this live and has stayed on this live with us for 2 hours and 30 minutes. We keep saying we're gonna promise we're gonna get it down, but I'm glad that you have stayed and you enjoyed it all the way through. Because as long as you're enjoying it, we will stay as long as it takes to get it done. And when you told me he was on the West Coast, I'm like, oh my God! And it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning that he's with us. He's such a wonderful young man.
And I love.
Just the gems. That hashtag never do a deal while you're desperate. Lord, if that wasn't a blessing on everybody's life today. Almost every bad decision I ever made is because I did it for the money. Almost 90%. and then when you stop doing, that was just like confirmation. Because once you stop doing it, you will have a valley like you have never seen before. But knowing that it is going to get better on the other side, it just that was it. He just walked right into that light. So I hope that blessed everybody else too.
We can literally have a show on Spectacular's knowledge drop.
He needs a Be Spectacular daily motivational moment that pops up on your phone when you wake up in the morning. I swear to God. Because I got this thing called Notes from the Universe, which is very cool, but I would much rather hear it coming from him.
Definitely. These are our the High Low News. Please subscribe to her amazing media platform.
Yeah.
And here we go. We have Defund the Police taking place at 3 o'clock at Huizenga Park in Fort Lauderdale. Here you go right here, information right here. And you can just go ahead and pause the video to get the exact, spot, or, go to the site. And then we have Natural Trendsetters doing something on Sunday, June 21st from 5 to 9, vendors, African art, poets. And those of you who don't know, Natural Trendsetters is one of the region's most successful natural hair salons. Then we have Social Exchange that's doing the Black Movie Drive-In coming to America.
I love that idea because drive-ins are coming back.
Okay, at today at 9 o'clock at Miami Gardens, Florida. Address will be released to ticket holders. So you would have to go. Here's the event right down here, and it's $40 per car. And I'm sure
that includes everything.
Yeah, I'm sure you get something with that. What do you get with that?
And go back and find out what you get with that for $40.
Yeah, it says celebration will uplift the community while reminding them about the truths in our freedoms. We will be honoring our ancestors and celebrating our culture, featuring Black-owned business, vending merchandise, live entertainment, poets, singers, dancers, political speakers, and a live DJ, all while social distancing in our cars. So you get entertainment.
Oh, okay. You're not actually watching a movie.
Okay. Then you have the Black Engagement Network. That's a new one. I never heard of this.
Yeah, one. I haven't heard of that one either.
So we're excited to see what that's about. That's today. That's happening in an hour and a half via WebEx. So you can log in. You have Ruben Roberts, Papa Keith, Citra Joseph, and Brittany Armstrong from the Broward County Sheriff's Office. So that's going to be engaging. Then you have the Black Engagement Network also doing some other events here with our brother Emmanuel George, a local historian, and you have something with kids.
I like him.
Yeah, really, really good. We definitely have to have Emmanuel on.
Yeah.
Then you have one of my favorite barbecue spots, Troy's Barbecue over in Boynton Beach. Delicious Juneteenth kickoff brunch on Sunday. I might go to that.
Shout out to Boezy.
Okay, and you got them. Now you have this looks very serious.
I can't you.
Yeah, I don't know. This flyers, I don't know. It doesn't give me a Juneteenth.
Yeah, I might need a vest for this one.
We honor God, our heritage. Okay, I don't know what this one is. Who is this? I don't know who's doing this. It doesn't say who's doing it.
No, go down a little bit. Isn't that it right there? Justice Watch and Empowerment Rally. Oh, but it don't say who it is.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's too little on my screen.
I need to know who's doing that one. This one looks a little. So then we have a Juneteenth barbecue celebration over at Roots Collective, and that's from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that's with Danny Agnew and Isaiah. Those guys, really, really great people. So you can make your way down there. Then we have another Roots Collective. Another celebration.
Juneteenth, the Black Kings edition, the communion instead of communion, communion. There, that could go so many different ways.
I'm gonna just not. So you have they're going to be discussing men's health, men's mental health. I probably need to be there. Friday, June 19th at 6:30 p.m. And this is at Top Cutters Barber. Oh, interesting. It's at Top Cutters Barber Shop, located at 16363 Northwest 57th Ave in Miami Lakes. That's going to be interesting. Then we have the Black. This is so rewarding, guys, because we've been doing Juneteenth for 9 years, and we stood the course, and there was literally only one or two things happening. And just look at this explosion of celebration of our culture.
I will offer you all that we have just been we just have hit 3,200 positive COVID cases in Florida. So I just offer you to please practice social distancing, get one of those, those headpieces with the acrylic on the front of it or whatever. Please protect yourself out there because, I am a walking COVID waiting to happen. So I will not be anywhere. Just because, I won't be nowhere. I will be celebrating with all of you all from here and that radio station.
So Jill's absolutely right. So we have the new Akabulon Education and Village Life presents Juneteenth, and that's going to be at 4097 Northwest 16th Street in Lauderhill, and that's from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And there's going to be bounce house, vendors, food, all that good stuff at the new Akabulon Education. And then here's our wonderful event, our 9th annual. What'd you say?
Beautiful poster.
It was, and that's by Josh Shep, our graphic designer.
Oh, he did a great job on that one. All of his work is great. That's really beautiful, Starks.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So this is going to be, guys, at Dukanoo Jamaican Kitchen over in Wynwood, and it's a beautiful space where there's social distancing going to be in play. The tables are 6 feet apart, and it's a beautiful outdoor patio so that you can wear your mask and not have anyone breathing on you at all. And then we're going to have Reggie Leon on our show, who is a councilman.
Monday.
City of Miami Gardens. Yeah, we'll have him on next week. And he's going to be talking about his efforts to get the City of Miami Gardens to embrace Juneteenth. And he, along with the mayor, is sponsoring this incredible bike ride that they're going to be meeting today at 6 p.m. at Calder Racetrack. The City of Miami Gardens, as you can see at the bottom, is really launching very, very healthy initiatives. They have the Keep Miami Gardens Healthy Initiative, Live Miami Gardens, where restaurants are providing healthy alternatives to some of our most loved and cherished cuisines. And we had Carla Hall on discussing the amazingness behind that. So kudos to the City of Miami Gardens for that. Then we have Miss Juneteenth, and that is going to be video on demand to order. You guys can just go ahead and click here. The High-Low News, you look them up, it's just High-Low News in their Juneteenth article. So you can click there for the Miss Juneteenth event. And then we have tips on how to celebrate Juneteenth. Cancel the 4th of July. Our independence was not on July 4th. Black people were still raped and murdered as slaves to another 89 years after Independence Day. Cancel that. And then turn up all Juneteenth weekend. Gather with friends and family to celebrate your actual day of freedom. Cookout, barbecue, fireworks, friendly games, however your family turns up. Number 3, shop Black-owned Juneteenth sales. Number 4, do not shop 4th of July sales. Don't let the money entice you. 5, internalize this energy forever. Don't let this energy on the last one weekend continue to celebrate the excellence of Black people. Continue to teach your children their real history. Continue to support Black-owned businesses. Continue to spend less with establishments that.
Is this on High-Low News?
Clearly don't. No, this is someone that just put that out. It's free-ish since 1865.
No, I mean, where are you getting this scroll from?
This is High-Low News. Incredible article.
Right. Okay. They're right. I'm saying so they can go on highlownews.com and read all of this.
Of course, I was just doing it with for them. For those people who. Some people why they don't go on. So there it is. High-Low editor-in-chief, Janae Tate. There's her contact information. Definitely, we had her on the show. She's an incredible sister, and we're super excited about this year's Juneteenth celebrations. All right, Jill. So I'm all done. How are you ready to log off?
There are. I want to make a point to. I'll deal with the comments because we get a lot of comments. And I'm always that person that's on these lives. And I'm like, I wish they would talk to the goddamn people that are talking to them. So I will make sure we need to make a moment in this show where we acknowledge these people who are over here blessing us, watching us. And Nikki Brown said that all of the that we're lucky because all the Juneteenth celebrations on the West Coast have been canceled.
Damn.
Exactly. I didn't even know that. And I didn't know that the numbers were, I guess they may not be talking about that much. And we also, have to keep an eye out for Tulsa because
Trump's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah, and they are planning for the protesters.
We
That's
probably could do a live show.
that just went by that they are the Trump campaign and the police are planning, quote unquote, for the protesters. So tomorrow is Saturday. Yes, we could. And you have to let me know a time. I'm at the radio station, but I can do it. I can do it from there.
You can. So let's plan on that, because this man is massively evil, and he's doing some crazy shit. But Jill, I wanted to also let everyone know that we're going to be doing better with trying to get our show within a time frame that I know that you guys enjoy, and it is great. And it may be that maybe the time that we have allocated won't be fixed, right? But we'll try our best to have our show in a timely manner. Jill, this is her background, and she's allowed me to just be free spirited so that she can
For a week.
Yeah, so she can take notes, and we're gonna do better with that. But as far as Juneteenth is concerned, I did want to point out that we need to practice social distancing as much as we can at our events, and I really want for our white residents, a lot of you guys, to start covering your mouths when you cough. I was on the beach yesterday, and I'm counting the days, making sure that I'm good, because there was this white woman. I mean, she was just hacking and coughing without covering her mouth. And I was like, my God. And everywhere I looked, it was just like these white women coughing without covering their mouths. And I'm like, what is this? And so I joked around and was like, is this like a white woman thing? And the lady who was a white woman was like, it is. she was like, she's like, I don't know what it is. They just this woman was just hacking. We were in front of Harold's. And so, I joke around, but, we really are serious about making sure that our people stay as healthy as possible, because it is impacting us in a very negative manner. And please, for those folks who don't believe this is real, it's so many of us now that are out and about, and we're just like, oh, this was fake all along. It's not fake. ICU beds are filling up, and we're going to actually have Dr. Bernard Ashby back on to discuss the impacts of COVID-19 on the Black community and what we can do to intervene in the situation. Wearing your mask and making sure that you're in places where people are wearing their masks. So tonight, even at Dukanoo, it's a lot of folks that are gonna that RSVP to come, but we're gonna have them socially distanced, and we're gonna make sure that everyone has their mask on. So please bring your mask to the events that you go to. Make sure that your kids have their mask on, and make sure that you guys are supporting Black-owned businesses. Now, Jill, there is a new Black-owned burger spot that opened. I went yesterday. Oh my freaking God. It is the best burger spot, and I can't wait.
Don't invite me to that shit, y'all, just so you know.
Well, you said you don't come out. I don't want you to get COVID.
I didn't say I wouldn't drive by and pick up the burger and drive my ass home and eat.
I mean, this is that's okay. So from now on, I'll make sure I create a drive-by Jill segment.
There you go.
Go outside and have you drive by and pick up the damn burger. Okay. But yeah, so check them out. It's called Fat Ronnie's Burgers, and it's a Black-owned spot. It's delicious. Then while I was at Fat Ronnie's, I found out that there is a Harold's Chicken, Jill, from Chicago, right? There's a Harold's Chicken on South Beach. and believe it or not, Jill.
Jesus, no, stop.
Listen, that
Are you serious?
Yes, and believe it or not, Jill, it was better. The fried chicken was better here than I had at about seven different Harold's. And so the guy was explaining to me that there were a lot of Indians that bought into the Black franchise and opened a bunch of Harold's. And he was like, those are the ones that they just literally dump the chicken in the flour, fry it, and don't really give it the love that it needs. But the sauce that they put, if you guys have never been to Chicago.
Okay, well, where is the one on the beach?
Okay, I give you the address now.
Oh my God. Right. While he's looking, I would just tell you, I could give you addresses of Harold's in Chicago.
So it's actually right down the street from Finger Licking, and it's located at 113. I'll post it for you guys. And they close at 1 a.m. So they're open mad late. There's a whole lounge in the back, and it's important for us to try. Yeah, Jill, it's a whole. He has a whole.
113 what? Continue the address.
Oh, let me give you guys the address.
Lord, see, that's the kind of thing where I just want. I will just have salad all day so I can eat that. Because really, it's very keto. Fried chicken is very keto, except for the flour.
Well, that is not keto because of the flour. But at 11 a.m.
I can take up some almond flour. Be like, could you use this flour?
I mean, I think that keto is very unhealthy, actually. You know,
it's a good. Don't say that. It's a good starting point for people who need to scale down.
Okay.
You can't stay on keto for your whole thing, but you know, when you try to just go from eating like we've been eating to 1,000 calories a day, you're gonna fail immediately. But if you do 2 weeks and do keto and then step yourself down, I'm just saying. Okay, go ahead.
Right. So this address is actually the address is, and I posted it, you guys, 1311 Washington Ave, Miami Beach, Florida. And let me
you know what that the Fat Burger that Queen Latifah owned? You know this place I'm talking about? Is he on?
Brand.
Queen Latifah used to have a Fat Burger. I want to say it's anyway 13th and Washington is where it is, and I'm gonna have to make a trip. I'm gonna just have to make a trip. Sorry. And then I can just run by Joe Stone Crab right quick. Listen, Joe Stone Crab has some of the best fried chicken ever. And they heretofore, I thought they had the best fried chicken on the beach, but now the Harold's the best fried chicken period. At Joe Stone Crab. I know a bunch of y'all went, what? Yes. You ain't nothing but us in the kitchen. So
but let me ask you something, Jill. You said that Queen Latifah spot is on the beach?
Queen Latifah used to own a Fat Burgers on the beach, but it's gone now.
Yeah, it closed down. It was gross.
Yeah, that's probably why.
But this spot,
damn, I don't know what is wrong with your internet today. So it's the government. They trying to shut you up, Derick. I don't know. But yes. Harold, Janae, any down for a ride to? Oh no, we don't have 6 feet in the car. Okay, well, I'm gonna make me a little.
Can you hear me now, Jill?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know. Today has just been a bad day for your audio. I don't know. Yeah, and I didn't drop it off. It's amazing, but I stayed in one spot, so maybe that's it. I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. Well, I gotta go. So.
It was a plum pleasing pleasure. And I'll talk to you. Call me and let me know. We're gonna early, like around the same time. Yeah.
I'll call you for tomorrow with Trump. Yeah.
Yeah. Early.
Okay then.
Okay.
All right, you guys.
Love you. I mean it. Bye-bye.